5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They've landed.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Talk radio.
You hear us, we hear you.
Yeah, good evening everybody and welcome to the KTPF Community Radio Talk Show. Here tonight we've got a full house, as you can see. There's quite a few of us here in the hub tonight, and some of us you can't see because I've just noticed that the camera's moved slightly. Or is it that Chris Andrews is leaning too far to the right? Okay, well, good evening. Good evening, as I say, and boy, what a week it's been. Today we've had a bit of a rush job trying to come down here and trying to sort something out and get everybody in. And basically, those of you who don't know, we've had pandemonium because Steve's external hard drive's gone on the blink, which he's not very happy about, are you, darling? Why?
Basically, my laptop's on low battery, and this makeshift power connection is a bit loose, so it keeps dropping out.
Right, well, take it out and put it back in again, see what happens.
No, that's not the point, dear.
If not, I'll have to use mine.
No, that's not the point.
What?
The point is, every time it comes out, my computer turns off.
Oh, right, okay.
So if it does that halfway through a Skype, we're going to have some fun.
I'll have to use my computer then. Don't worry, we'll
No,
get there.
no, we'll be fine.
It's having one of them days. Well, anyway, let's just see who we've got in the...
I blame Neil. He started it.
Yeah, all right, he had a bad day.
He had a bad start, so he passed it on to everybody else.
But as I say, we're going to introduce everybody that's actually in the chat room, like we normally do. We always acknowledge those in the chat room. So I'm going to start from the top. We have quite a few Club Zero people in. Either that or they've just been commenting quite a few times. We've got Gemma and Joe. They're in that, Jojo that is. And let's see, yeah, they probably when they were helping me doing the old Skype test, I mean the chat room test and everything. Right, let's see, who else have we got? We've got Club 02, whoever that may be. Oh, is that Martin? Yeah. Right, okay. Evening, Martin. Nice to see you again. Who else have we got? Let's see. I saw Green Lee there. Hi, Green Lee, how are you? And I'm sure Reiki Debs is not too far away. She's there somewhere. We've also got in the chat room there. We have got DA Roberts, who will be our first guest around about 8:30 this evening. Fingers crossed, all goes well for the Skype. If not, we'll have to change laptops or something. So, but we will get there. And don't forget, if you do have a problem and anything goes off or whatever, God forbid, live stream decides to crash on us or you, stay with us. Just if it's you, just reload it. If not, then we'll be back as soon as possible. Okay. Let's see, who else do we have? DA Roberts there is saying hi to everyone. So it's good evening to you, sir. Looking forward to speaking to you in a while. Anybody else? I saw Aggie pop in now. Yep, there she is. Aggie's there. I think that's about it at the moment. Oh, Simply Joe, she's there. Good evening, Simply Joe. And there's Reiki Debs. Let's see. I'm trying to get down this chat room. Who else? Right, well, that's about it for now. I'm sure we'll get the rest in a bit. Nigel won't be long, and Helen and everybody else. You're going to be fine, are you? Will you just keep taking the tablets, Joe? So, yeah, lay off the wine. Well, what a week it's been. We've had quite a few things happening this week. And we're going to be talking about some of them in a bit. Oh, yeah, B19AJN. He's there. Sorry, I missed you. Sorry about that. But he's there as well. And you're new.
Apparently,
welcome.
Chris, stop chewing like a cow.
Right.
It looks like you're eating grass.
Chew it, grass like a sheep, it says. Right, okay, well, just let me introduce you to those that are actually in the hub with us. We have Chris Andrews, an old friend of ours from way back when, and he's from Club Zero, stroke whatever that was, and then back again, because I keep... Yeah, so I I've been saying that you're going forward and back, but you're now back and it's Club Zero. Is that right? Speaking to them. You can now.
Yeah,
Right.
Club Zero Ghost Group, then Phase 2 Paranormal, then back to Club Zero Paranormal.
Yeah. So gone back to your roots, have you?
Back to the roots.
Well,
yeah.
some of them.
The Club Zero had the history there behind it, so it's everything that was done in 10
It was
years.
inevitable, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a 10-year. It's been
Yeah.
going 10 years this year, so it's and people wanted to bring that name back. So we dropped the Ghost Group part, and because of the Phase 2 Paranormal, we kept the Paranormal bit, put that back on, and it gives it opens different doorways, doesn't it? Instead of
Yeah.
just looking at ghosts and the lights like that.
Yeah, this is it. So, but as I say, bear with us, guys. We're having one of them days today. If it's not one thing, it's another. So just please bear with us. It's not normally like this, as some of you know. Okay. Next to Chris, we have Jeff Knott, who is, according to his Facebook page, spiritualist, medium, healer, Reiki master. Is that correct?
It certainly is. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
That's all right. And later on, you're going to be talking about chakras and how to balance them.
I am. I will do a demonstration as well.
All right, okay, and we've hopefully got a PowerPoint production for you, so that's more work for me next week when I try and sort out the rerun or the radio replay, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, and let's see. Oh, Leanne's on. Hi, Leanne. So she's coming as well. And next to Jeff, we have our very good friend and normal guest.
Normal.
Okay.
Guest. I'm normal. Yeah.
Normal.
I'm just here for the coffee, so.
I know you are. But that's not the word. Co-host, that's the one.
Thank you.
Guest co-host.
A normal co-host.
Yeah. Regular, that's the word I'm looking for. Mr. Neil Munnerley, medium
Hello,
extraordinaire.
hello, extraordinaire. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Wow. So, and you've come in for the psychic and science side.
I have, yes.
And you're without me for a minute, so just carry on.
Right. Okay. So I'm without Steve for a while. So, DA said I've got to define normal.
Well, you said it.
I know. Well,
How normal am I?
well, you're not exactly normal. You're not normal, but.
I would say the opposite.
Okay, and over in the wings, we have a young lady. Sorry, I forgot what your name was again. Emma. Emma's come here. She's going to be part of the demonstration that Jeff's going to do later on camera. So,
Surprise, surprise.
let's hope we've got some room for this. So,
She didn't know that when she turned up. Mate.
no, well, this is it. But as I say, it's all good fun. Don't forget, later on, we've also got the Paranormal Events, and this is one that Chris did earlier. Very earlier, like nearly a year ago.
Hi, I'm Chris Andrews from Phase 2 Paranormal in Stockport, and I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly, where membership is a smiling face.
Yeah, I think he's got to redo that one now, didn't you? Because he's no longer Phase 2. Well, anyway, we're going to go to the observations. I'm not going to ask Neil where his day's been, because it's not been very good, has it?
You still ask if you want.
Go on, then.
Very stressful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's collided
Very,
over to
very.
our house.
Well, yeah, it was non-stop, to be honest.
Right,
It's been non-stop stress
yeah.
till I hit the gym, and then
Right.
everything just de-stressed.
Took it out in the gym.
I did. Yeah.
Poor Jim.
Yeah.
Poor
Jim's
Jim.
not a pretty sight at the moment.
As long as they're not making you pay.
No.
Right, okay. Well, just to let you know that later on, around about 8:30 our time, 2:30 American time. I'm not sure whereabouts in the country in America he is, but it's 2:30 roughly, I think. We're going to be talking to DA Roberts, who is an author of the Ragnarok Rising Saga. I'll probably get reprimanded for that. But we're going to be talking about his book and also about his series on the latest zombie attacks happening all over the world. And there has been quite a few. So we'll be having him on soon. But until then, we're going to go on to the observations. So the first one this week is about green slime that was thought to resemble a mysterious mythical jelly that appeared after meteor showers has now been identified as coming from frogs. So then poor experts are no longer baffled. Okay. Nature experts said even they were baffled because they said by appearance of the substance on a nature reserve in Somerset, which they were originally unable to recognise, RSPB officers who runs the site at Hamwell near Glastonbury has thought it may be star or astral jelly, an unexplained goo traditionally said to appear after meteors fall to Earth. Its appearance was significant after a meteorite crash landed in Russia at the weekend, shattering thousands of windows, and an asteroid had nearly missed Earth. Now, a vet has identified the jelly as a substance produced inside female frogs, which they used to lay their eggs in, by combining it to create the frog spawn. And apparently, if they get scared or something, then they just produce this this substance known as glycoprotein, which is stored in the female body. If the animal is attacked by a predator, herons, for instance, are fond of the occasional frog, it will quite naturally drop its spawn and associated glycoprotein. This is designed to swell on contact with water, which gives the gelatinous mass we all are familiar with. However, if it's unfertilized, it just looks like an empty glycoprotein that has been dropped, which on contact with moisture will swell and give a clear slime-like substance. So there you go. So that's the conclusion of that one. Just because we had meteorites doesn't mean to say we had all that glue or whatever. glonk. There's a word. Astral jelly. It does sound funny, doesn't it, DA? Okay. Now, you may not think this is paranormal, okay, but years and years ago, you could be burned at the stake for this sort of thing. Illusionist Darren Brown is planning to change someone's sexual orientation for his latest TV stunt. It isn't the first time one of Darren's stunts have attracted controversy, but his past tricks, including games of Russian roulette live on television and an attempt to predict the lottery numbers correctly. Now his most recent trick involves convincing a teaching assistant that the end of the world has arrived. Okay, so he does all that sort of thing. But now he's decided to turn his attention towards something a little different, turning a straight man gay. I was thinking about this the other day. It would be interesting, wouldn't it, he said, to take a gay guy and make him straight, and a straight guy and make him gay. The illusionists insist, however, that he isn't interested in causing controversy, despite the fact that many of his tricks tend to attract a lot of it. Controversy, that is. It's never interested him for its own sake. He said it's always been about doing stuff that feels dramatic. See, we talk about everything here. We've now got Chris L in. I'm assuming that's another Club Zero person. No? Oh, right, okay.
Do you not remember Chris? He was here last week.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes, welcome back, Chris. Nice to see you again. And I hope you're feeling okay. I think that's a female as well, if I remember rightly. Right, okay. Back onto the subject of the paranormal itself. There are a lot of paranormal reality shows that are on television these days, and the Sci-Fi Channel boasts quite a few. Which one is your favourite? Here are the top 5. See whether you agree with this or not. Haunted Highway is at number 5, hosted by Jack Osborne, and follows 2 teams of paranormal investigators. The show first aired on July the 3rd, 2012. The 2 teams travel the country investigating urban legends and haunted tales. At number 4... Oh, you are, Mel. Sorry, Chris. At number 4, Paranormal Witness is a documentary television show that features situation recreations of eyewitnesses. The show was first aired on September the 7th, 2011. Eyewitnesses are interviewed about their paranormal encounters. Okay? Okay. Paranormal Highway. Okay. 3, Fact or Fate Paranormal Files. Everyone can cheer if they want.
Woo!
Follows former FBI agent Ben Hansen, Joe, and his team of investigators. The series first premiered on July the 15th, 2010. The team reviews viral videos from the internet and then goes out to investigate the claims, the attempts to recreate and explain each situation. And for those of you who remember him being on the show a few months back. He's coming back in May. March. I'll get it right in a minute. In March the 20th, I think, or 27th. But we'll let you know about that.
You have one of them days as well.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So, like I said, I get a bit stuttering a bit. So, yeah, you know the one, Lee. The one where the boys can't get a word in edgeways while the girls are swooning all over him. Okay, number 2 is Destination Truth. It's hosted by Josh Gates and follows his group of investigators. The show first premiered on June 6, 2007. Gates and his research team travel around the world to investigate various cases of the paranormal. And what do you think's at number 1, guys? Any clues? Where do you think we're going to go with this? And it's not Most Haunted. Number 1 is Ghost Hunters. Following a team of paranormal investigators led by Jason Howes. The show first aired on October 6, 2004. The Ghost Hunters travel the country and investigate alleged haunted locations. Ghost Hunters International and Ghost Hunters Academy, 2 spin-off shows, also air on the network. So you can tune in to Sci-Fi for everything to do with paranormal shows.
Well, all the spin-off of Taps.
They are part of Taps, aren't they? Yeah, I think there was a show originally called Taps.
Yeah, I think Ghost Hunters was originally called Taps.
So, yeah. So, there we go. So there's your top 5. Okay, we're going to go on to the subject of what we're going to be talking about soon, just to give you an idea of what this zombie thing is all about. I've been having a Google on the old website and seeing what I can find. And we're going to talk more about this with Mr. DA Roberts in a bit, and also about these attacks. But did you know that the US Navy Times reported that military exercises in preparation for a zombie apocalypse have been staged as part of their counter-terrorism summit in San Diego, California? The 5-day event from October the 30th to November the 2nd provided hands-on training, realistic demonstrations, lectures and classes geared to more than 1,000 military personnel, law enforcement officers, medical experts and state and federal government workers. Okay, this is a very real exercise. This is not some type of big costume party, says HALO corporate president Brad Barker to the Christian News. Halo Corporation is a Californian-based organization founded by U.S. Special Operations Group. Everything that will be simulated at this event has already happened. That sounds worrying. It just hasn't happened all at once at the same time. But the training is very real, Barker added. Christian News also reported that the training exercise will simulate an emergency wherein zombies have surrounded a VIP and trapped him. A bomb will explode, injuring the VIP, where the law enforcers and first responders must take action. Barker explains that like a terrorist, no one knows exactly what zombies would do in any situation. If a law enforcement officer sees the zombie and says, "Freeze, get your hands in the air," what is the zombie going to do? He's going to moan at you. If someone on PCP or some other psychotic drug is told that, the truth is he's not going to react to you. U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention even wrote a series of articles about preparing for the zombie apocalypse, saying that if the people are well prepared for zombies, they could be prepared for anything. Now, this is the military. Come on, guys. You know, they're actually doing something. My son Steph has actually been on a course and got his certificate up in Scotland for being able to survive after zombies and stuff like that. So
even learned how to make a crossbow out of a chair.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. When we think of zombies, we think about the traditional Walking Dead, rising up from the grave, blah 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 blah. That's what most people think about, don't they, Chris? Yeah. Mike.
They do.
Right,
do,
that's
don't
just
they?
what they think about. Yeah, but 28 days later, everybody's coming out of the ground and blah, 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 blah. And not reading DA's book. I'm not sure whether this is what his book's about, but I'm assuming, I really didn't get the chance to have a quick look, but at the sample that's actually on his site. But at the moment, it's right. It's this PCP and psychotic drugs, yeah? If you go onto DA's site, you will find a few zombies in the news, but I'm just going to read to you.
Can I interrupt you there, please?
Go on.
The one that the first one that hit the news, they said it was down to a drug called bath salts, but when they actually checked, he had no drugs in his system.
Yeah, well, this is it. So, but I'm going to just read you something. I was hoping to get Wade Davis on tonight, to be honest with you, but he's a bit busy at the moment.
That's as well as
as other things. But as I say, we was trying to get Wade Davis on.
Not instead of, as well as.
Yeah, as well as tonight, because we wanted to mix the two together. Now, this is just a little synopsis of how his film came about. On a brilliant day in the spring of 1980, a stranger arrived. Oops, he's kicking everything now.
Sorry.
A stranger arrived at L'Estère marketplace in Haiti, at their fertile Artibonite in the fertile Artibonite Valley. The man's gait was heavy, his eyes vacant. The peasants watched fearfully as he approached a local woman named Angelina Narcissi. She listened as he introduced himself, then screamed in horror and recognition. The man had given the boyhood nickname of her deceased brother, Clavius Narcissi, a name that was known only to family members and had not been used since his funeral in 1962. According to the reports, Clavius was poisoned with a mixture of various substances to simulate death. The instigator of the poisoning was alleged to be his brother, with whom he had quarrelled over land. After his apparent death and subsequent burial on May the 2nd, 1962, his body was recovered. And he was given a paste made from datura, which at certain doses has an hallucinated effect and can cause memory loss. The Boka, or sorcerer, who recovered him, then forced him, alongside many other zombie slaves, to work on a sugar plantation until the master's death 2 years later. When the Boka died, and regular doses of the hallucinogenic ceased, big words again, he eventually regained sanity. Unlike many others who had suffered brain damage from hypoxia while buried alive, and returned to his family after another 16 years, only after finding his brother had died. Narcissi's story was popularised in the book The Serpent and the Rainbow by researcher Wade Davis, which met with some criticism in the scientific community. So it, as I say, we're looking at this drug sort of thing. Oh God, they've gone all colours on me again. So, as I say, we are looking at this. It's more of a drug-like substance or some sort of drugs that are actually making them this way. Have you ever come across this in your military background, or? Maybe.
Well, I know they did a lot of testing on military personnel many years ago. I think it was 1950s.
Yeah.
That was brought about, and they were testing things like LSD and things like that on troops and how they would respond. How they would do the normal work and the normal duties on this kind of drug. So yeah, I can see where it's going. But I don't know. I think it's an overdose of McDonald's or fast food or something. But there's something amiss there. I think it's just psychosis, to be honest. Right. If you look at schizophrenia, how bad that can get. Either that or they're possessed and they're being told, eat that woman's face. It could be anything.
So, right, I'm just going to see what Steve's doing with his laptop. We're doing over there. Right, I say if not, you'll have to run upstairs and get my other gadget and do it from that one. He has a problem with his lead and we've ordered, and he's actually ordered one, but it hasn't come in time. So, today has been one of them. I think we need smudging. Oh look, TV's gone off now. Has it? It's probably the connector. Either that, or we have spirits in the house. It's not your fault. No, it's been like it all day.
It's always my fault.
So, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Right, we'll see what we can do. If not, we will get him back, because I'll just swap laptops. So please bear with us. Right, so we're going to talk to our first guest, DA Roberts. Up here? Yeah, it's already up. We're going to talk to Mr. DA Roberts. He's a correction officer with the Green County Sheffield's office, or I assume he still is, an author of the Ragnarok Rising, The Awakening, and we're going to find out all about that and his views on these zombies attacks. And one question I'd like to ask you lot is, what would you do if it happened to you? So we're going to give it a try.
Can you hear us, sir?
Are you there, DA?
Yes, ma'am.
Hang on.
Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, 1 second. Sometime this is messed up.
Right, try again. Can you hear us now? You got it in the right hole. Something like that. Hang on a minute, we got a problem here.
I'm trying not to even move it.
Steve trying to get connection made up.
This is confusing. I'm going to throw things out in a minute.
Every week. Every single week.
Every week this works, and
Chris,
today
it's
it's
your
going to be a
fault.
pain. We had it all right earlier. Bear with us, DA.
28 weeks later.
We might hear me on there. Is it in the right hole?
It's in the right hole.
Okay.
Am I completely stupid?
Magic mushrooms.
2 seconds,
If I
guys.
move it, I'm going to lose power and it'll just turn off.
Right, hold on. Just type him and say we're going to change laptop.
I can't type anything.
They're just going to change laptops at the moment.
Oh dear.
The problem is Steve's laptop, there was a power problem with it. So therefore, he don't move it, try and get the connection right.
Yeah, and then she tells me to type when I'm not even online. I've deliberately come offline and just stayed on Skype to try and save some power. And
See, can't get the stuff.
no, can't get the stuff. If I pull this out, at least we'll be able to talk to him through that. Hello, sir. Right, we're in the process of changing some things over.
Right, do you want to...
We're going to... no, 'cause my power just went completely.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, unfortunately, Steve's power's going to just die in now, so we're going to keep going as we are at the moment.
Right, okay, 2 seconds. Where's the Skype gone? It's just been a one big ball ache today. Right, can I get that lead over here?
Now, Sue just setting up the laptop up. Do you want 2 seconds?
2 seconds, guys.
So while we're waiting, anybody got any questions you'd like to ask?
Yeah, do a brew while you're up, Sue.
Either or.
Jeff, what about them shows?
Which shows?
I'll have a coffee if you're doing that, mate.
Up yours.
I didn't think it'd go over, this is why we didn't do it last time.
Yeah, I know. Alright,
Just says bear with us a few more minutes.
yeah, we'll be plugging in a sec.
Well, tonight should be fun, exciting and very informative. Special guest. I know what Chris is like. He needs gagging as usual.
I've been quiet. I've been very good. I'm very quiet.
That's not like him.
That's because I'm sat next to a zombie.
That's quite true. And unfortunately, the way zombies are, they have to do what they're doing.
Whoop whoop.
It's all psychotic.
It's
And a very bit hypnotic as well.
I'm not about psychotic. I'm psychiatric.
the question for me is, why are these people making so much money training people to fight zombies? I mean, come on.
Well, you don't know, it's just juice.
Everything seems to be going on the hay
On the,
Well, that's fun and games for you.
on the
When you
Haywell,
think about that, they could have been putting the money into something more,
yeah.
more realistic or something.
Yeah, like hospitals.
Yeah, or something like that. Or
Right, let's see if we can get hold of him. Okay. Oh. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, sorry about this.
That's all right.
Everything seems to be going on all wrong today. Oh dear,
Yeah.
it's not arm drives, it's... Oh. So can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, can everyone hear DA in the hub? In the chat room. Guys, is everyone can hear? What's the weather like in America today?
We're about an hour away from the biggest snowstorm in the past couple of years. It's on its
Wow.
way.
Oh dear.
And whereabouts are you actually?
I'm in a little town called Springfield, Missouri, right in the middle of the United States.
Which is where your book is based, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise known as the Heartland.
Yeah. So, okay, do you want to briefly tell us about your book?
Absolutely. It's called Ragnarok Rising the Awakening. It's book 1 of the Ragnarok Rising Saga. Book 2 is due out next month. It centers around a group of survivors from the local sheriff's department, primarily corrections officers, who are called into field duty when the zombies first start arriving in their area. Even though they've been listening to the reports in the news, they really weren't prepared for what was coming. And it quickly goes from trying to contain and keep things out to pulling the people that managed to survive back to the jail and fortify their position. It really centers around a group of first responders, just everyday people that are trying to do their best in a pretty much impossible situation, and while at the same time rescuing friends and family.
Right, and obviously, how long have you been writing? Is this your first book, or is...
This is my first major publication. I've been trying to write since I was very young, but this is my first major publication. I've had a few short stories and poems published, but this is the first thing of any length.
Yeah, right. And I believe your mother's encouraged you to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, she did until her death in 1982. She was my inspiration. She kept me going. And now my wife is, and she's not afraid to slap me in the back of the head and go, "This needs reworked."
Right, can you just excuse me a minute, DA? We've got somebody in the chat room at the moment called WizJR, and I'm not sure who they are. Right, is this somebody that we don't want in? If you could tell me, please, if you wouldn't mind.
I think he needs removing.
Yeah, so do I, because let me just go back to chat. Sorry about this, DA. Let's see if I
This
can
is a
find-
friendly show, it's all said and done.
Right.
It's a sad state of affairs when we go deal with people like that.
Yes, sorry about this, guys. So I'm just going to... they've just said they're swearing and stuff in the actual chat room. So I think I've removed him. Yes, I have successfully. Right.
One in every crowd.
Yeah, somebody just came on and started being racist and for some reason. Right, okay, let's see how we go from here. Sorry about that, guys, in the chat room. I just noticed that myself. Okay, so let's go back to the conversation in hand. So you're in America. You've decided to write this book. What made you think of zombies?
Well, it started as a conversation between myself and a few other officers. We were having coffee one night, middle of the night, nothing really going on, and we'd been discussing horror films, and one of my fellow officers said, "Well, what would we do if it happened here?"
Yeah.
And so we kind of laughed about it at first, and he goes, "No, seriously, what would we do if there were zombies here?" And we're like, "You're serious? You're talking zombies in the streets of Springfield?" He goes, "Yeah." So we started discussing how we thought our department would deploy in conjunction with other departments, and it looked pretty bleak for us because we really don't have the manpower to fight something on that scale.
Mm-hmm.
And it really grew from there. The next morning on my way home from work, I was looking at buildings and other vehicles thinking, wow, could we defend that building? Could we modify that car? And it kept the idea churning in my head, and it grew into a story I just couldn't wait to write.
Right, so it does sound a very interesting book, and I'll have to have a look at the sample copy on your website when I get a chance, when I'm not being pestered by electrical problems. Obviously, it was going to be on my to-do list today, but we're just wondering, there are a few questions that are coming up in the actual chat room, and I think we've got a few people there that might know you. We've got a Captain Creeper says, hello, DA. And
Captain Creeper's from creepercast.com.
Right, okay. So obviously they'll be familiar with yourself. So my husband's got some questions for you. The zombies, as they were called, are not zombies in the true sense of the word, and seems to have more to do with these cannibalism. What's your theory on this?
Well, the ones you're seeing in the news,
Yeah.
I think you're primarily seeing people that are on really harsh chemistry or bath salts, as they call it.
Yeah.
I work in corrections, so we actually deal with this fairly regularly, and it really does reduce someone to pretty much a zombie state. There's really nothing recognizable left. They do things and act in ways that no normal person ever would, and sometimes it's pretty frightening.
Right. Chris L says he reads a lot of American services, like the fire department, and has sections on this in their manuals. Is this something that's been? I read a bit just now about the U.S. military, U.S. Naval Times. Is this something that the Americans are actually looking into? Because we don't really hear much about it over here. Obviously, everything seems to happen in America, to be honest with you. But,
I've always been of the opinion that people that prep for zombie apocalypse, these doomsday preppers and the people that are preparing for the quote unquote zombie apocalypse, they're really using it more as a metaphor. If you're prepared for a zombie apocalypse, you'd be amazed how many things you're prepared for. But as far as our military and law enforcement goes, I think it's really just more an exercise in crowd control.
Yeah.
And putting a popular name on it so it doesn't freak people out.
Now, the zombies in your book, are they the proper up out of the ground sort of coming to life zombies?
They're freshly turned corpses. Yes, they're not living in any way, shape, or form.
Right. Okay. And obviously, you've got a couple of more books coming after this as well, from what I saw.
I've got plans for 5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe they'll be turned into a movie.
I would absolutely love that.
It would be good, wouldn't it? So, so is this your theory about these attacks? Because you've got some of them on your website, haven't you? There's a Pennsylvania, was it? A China one, one in Japan. You've been looking at all these as well, haven't you?
I've been keeping my eye on the news, yes. Anything that pops up with the word zombie in a headline, I try to at least get a copy of the article and pin it to my website. Part of it is when the zombie hysteria grows, more people are going to want to read about it and therefore be interested in my book. But more than that, it's just kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on. If there's quote unquote zombies in the streets, it's big news for everybody, especially if it's people that have been doing some of these bath salts and things like that, because it could happen anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And what actually is this bath salts?
It's literally what you could go down to a like Bed Bath and Beyond and buy to put in your bath. It's like Epsom salts and other chemicals meant for put in the bath to relax in a warm bath and release fragrance.
Wow.
But they're chopping this stuff up like methamphetamine or cocaine and snorting it or injecting it, and it's not intended for internal consumption.
No.
It's just doing horrible things to their system.
Yeah. So guys, when you go down to Asda or wherever, and I'm sure there's many other supermarkets and stuff, please remember to buy Radox or anything like that and only put it in the bath.
Called.
Sorry, say that again.
I was in a shop last night actually called Lush.
Lush.
Yeah. And it's all homemade bath salts and soaps and all kinds of stuff in there.
So it could
Half
be
the
a
stuff
field
in
day.
there. Well, yeah, I mean half the stuff in there you would actually want to eat. It looks edible, smells edible.
Yeah.
So I can see where that's going.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to ask DA a question, whether about his book or his research or anything, you can contact us on the landline, which is 0844 414 3982. You can ask the question also in the chat room, and I'll relay it off to DA. He's also put his website there for you to have a look at, and also his Facebook page for you to friend him as well. So I would take a look over there because it's very, very interesting. So if you've got an hour or two to spare, just have a look on his website. it is very, very interesting to see. So, why did you call it the Ragnarok? Ragnarok. Sorry.
That's all right.
Ragnarok, so.
In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is the end of the world. It's the Viking Armageddon, if you will.
Yeah.
And it actually speaks of an army of the dead rising from hell, led by Loki against the world of men.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was pretty appropriate.
Yeah. Right.
And I wanted to give it a title that really stood out from other zombie novels. Every permutation of the word dead, undead, or zombie is out there in some form in a book title. And I wanted mine to stand apart. And I think Ragnarok Rising did that.
Yeah, definitely. So, and there's the Awakening, which you're starting off with. Do you have the titles for the next forthcoming books?
Yes, I do. The next one that's due out, should be out next month, is Ragnarok Rising: The Reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
You can read the back cover blurb of it on the website. It's already up. I don't have any sample chapters up yet because we're still doing the layout and the cover.
Yeah.
But the third one I'm already in process of writing. It's called Ragnarok Rising: The Crossing.
Right, and what does your colleagues at work think about all this? I believe one of them was actually used as a character in your book.
I like to think that the characters in the books are really based on the way multiple people act. I don't think there's really a one-for-one translation of anybody in the book.
Yeah.
But I work with a fantastic group of people, and they certainly have been the inspiration behind many of the characters. My friends at work all love the book. Everybody is always asking me, when's the next one going to be done? When's the next one going to be done? And it's been a wonderful experience with the people I work with and with my family. I've had a huge amount of support.
So, my husband wants to ask a question, Steve.
Yeah, I was actually wondering with all these new outbreaks, in a lot of cases, drugs have not been found in their systems. So I was actually wondering, how much of it do you think is actually a mental problem, and is the use of bath salts in the media just a scare tactic?
I think it could be to an extent, but when they ingest the bath salts, even once the chemicals have cleared their system, the damage is done. I saw one example, and I can't give you names or specifics because it's an ongoing case in our department. But it was a young lady who had a very bright future, and over the period of about 6 months, devolved into almost an animal-like intelligence. Very, very bright young lady that in less than 6 months, you could barely even have a conversation with her. And it's the kind of thing that even days later, once the drugs were out of her system, she was still so messed up, she had to be hospitalized. And when those things are ingested, like I said, the damage is done.
Right, we've got Jeff here. He's got a question for you.
Hi, dear. Just a point. If you were confronted by one of these, what would you do? How would you react?
If I was confronted by a zombie, well, I hope I would react a lot like my main character and fight. But seeing a living dead creature right in front of me, I'd say my first instinct would probably be to run.
Yeah, fight or flight.
I definitely don't want to get bitten.
Definitely, because they are actually really attacking people. The Miami one for a start.
I ate that guy's face off.
Yeah, and then I remember reading about the lady in the back seat of the taxi. In China, was it?
Yes.
So, you can get a cab and you end up getting attacked. It's ridiculous. What's the worst one you've heard?
I think the worst one is probably the guy in Miami that ate the guy's face off. But there was another one equally as bad in San Antonio, Texas, where a lady is accused of actually eating her baby.
Oh my God!
Don't you think that some of these people do these things just to get recognition on the television and in the media? They hear things like this and you get copycat. It's like in England and things like that. You get certain crimes that go on, but people do sort of copycat things, and just to get into the media, onto the television, into the newspapers, etc., etc. What do you think on that?
I don't think it's people seeking attention. Like in the case of the guy in Miami, he, when ordered to stop by the officer, he advanced on the officer and wound up getting shot. An attention seeker is probably not going to push it to the point where they're dead. I think a lot of it is mental health issues compounded with
schizophrenia,
with probably harsh chemistry, chemical use, and it's really a horrible way for someone to ruin their life.
What would you say the recognisable features are?
I'm sorry?
How would you describe their features, looking at them?
Meeting someone like this that's on drugs.
Yeah.
Usually the expression on their face, the lack of focus in their eyes. We had one guy came in to our booking department one night, and this was a young kid, maybe 19, 20, maybe 125 pounds. If he was soaking wet, it took 6 of us to subdue him.
Wow.
And I'm not a small guy. I'm about 240 pounds.
Yeah.
I should have had no trouble putting the kid onto the ground by myself, but it took 6 of us to subdue the kid to keep him from hurting himself.
But bearing in mind that they'll be full of adrenaline anyway.
I'm sorry?
They'll be full of adrenaline anyway.
Absolutely, and feel nothing. I've had instances with individuals where pepper spray had absolutely zero effect, none.
We got Club Zero Gemma in the chat room. She says, if you research back into zombie attacks, they go back all the way to the Victorian times. She said that the Vikings' strongest warriors were given magic mushrooms and other drugs, so they went out of control on the front line. Do you think this could have been as portrayed as zombies by their enemies? Do you think they would have thought that way?
I think it would explain the Viking legend of the Berserker. How a warrior can charge into battle with no heat of wounds or fear of death, and still be fighting with numerous nearly fatal wounds, missing limbs, that sort of thing. The Berserkers were feared all over the known world at the time, everywhere they went, and I think that could probably go a long way to explaining the Berserker.
Yeah. It would make you think. I must admit, we talk about all different stuff on here, from paranormal to cryptozoology, which are hidden animals, and even UFOs. But we need to try and get, even though it's not exactly paranormal, this is normal, but we need to get the word out there because it is a strange phenomenon. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. It's something that I think everybody should be aware of, because as the prevalence of cheaper drugs expand, it's going to be something that people start seeing everywhere. I'm surprised you haven't dealt with it in the UK.
Well, I know my son lives up in Scotland, and he was telling me that he's got a certificate because he's passed his test to be able to cope with a zombie attack, and learned how to make a crossbow out of a chair and all this, that and the other. And so there are actual courses that are going on around this country.
It'd be hard to tell the difference in Scotland between the zombies and the Glasgow Celtic fans.
Oh, good one.
He lives in Glasgow, careful. I don't think he's partnered with me.
His other half would be happy because they're all blue. They're the blue half.
Blue half, that's all right then. So, but yeah, I'm not into football, so. But as I say, but there are courses coming up for this sort of thing. We have courses for being a paranormal investigator, being a psychotherapist, a parapsychologist. And even development courses for, mediums and stuff like that. So why not something for you to go on a course for, to be able to learn how to protect yourself against zombie attacks?
There's a large number of available information on the internet that'll teach you just that, without having to sign up for courses. There's entire YouTube series based on survival prepping. Websites, downloadable content. There's literally tons of information out there for things to do should we lose the power grid, should we have a Carrington level event. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Carrington event, but it was described by a British scientist back about 1859. It was a massive solar flare that, at the time, since the only thing really electric was the telegraphs, it was supercharging the telegraph lines and electrocuting the operators, and it was all over the world. You can Google the Carrington effect, and it's pretty fascinating. But they postulate that if that happened today, a Carrington level event, an EMP burst from the sun that powerful, it would literally shut down the world's power grid globally, and we'd be thrust back into about 1850s technology, because they don't know how long it would last. So, in response to things like that, there are hundreds of websites out there that teach survival skills, basic weapon manufacturing, things that can work without technology, how to build solar ovens, how to clean your water. There's one called a biosand filter for purifying water, and it works pretty well, and it's easy to make. Anybody could do it. But these survival skills are out there that anybody can learn them if they go to these websites, and it's not something you've got to pay someone to teach you. The information's there.
This actually on TV recently, on a documentary, they actually showed this woman teaches people how to survive in the event of sort of a nuclear attack even, and like you say, a solar flare, putting everything out from the very basic, like say, creating water from basically nothing to actually eating berries, eating grubs, and even how to act against other people. It's amazing, really, what they can do.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of things out there. Some of it you've got to work out, which is, hype and rubbish, and ones that are actually, obviously...
money-making scheme.
Yeah. Well, but then again, saying that, I keep saying these people, they come on the show and they talk about their beliefs and their books and everything and the way things are going. It's heads up times, isn't it? Like you say on your website. I guess it's time to get a gun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Not a bad time to have one on hand.
Yeah. Well, Green Lee says he's already got one.
They don't sell them
a
at
load of
Tesco's, do
cartridges.
they?
Pardon?
They don't sell them at Tesco's. Up
No,
here,
they
do
don't sell them in Tesco's.
Or any other proprietary store.
Or even in Walmart, unfortunately. But yeah, it's all about survival at the end of the day. And it's getting harder and harder for us, not just with the normal stuff. It's now we're getting zombies attacks and things like that. So, it's a
I've
good
worked with a
heads
few
up.
over the years, I think, zombies.
Yeah. So, well, it's been a great subject, DA, and one that I will definitely be keeping an eye on your website for more reports. I was looking, when I googled zombie attacks, I was quite surprised what came up actually. And there was one actual headline that mentioned about one in Texas, funny enough, where they attacked the family and then ate the dog alive. And I thought, well, I don't really want to read that one, but
Yeah, some of them are pretty graphic.
Yeah, very graphic indeed. So everyone's been asking about your book. I'm saying this for the recording because it will go out on YouTube later on. And so if you can just reiterate where they can find your book for us.
You can find the book on my website, which is ragnarokrising.weebly.com, or you can find it through my publisher, which is pendrakepublishing.com. It's also available on amazon.com, smashwords.com, and barnesandnoble.com. Of course, on Amazon UK, all over Europe, essentially. Any Amazon in Europe is going to have it. But you can read a sample chapter on my website. And you can follow the book and details of release times for the second book on my Facebook page and on the website as well.
Well, that's brilliant. Well, sorry about the technical bits at the beginning, but it's been great speaking to you, DA, and I wish you all the best of luck with your future endeavours.
Thank you so much.
Okay, please keep us posted. Anything that you want to let us know about, you're more than welcome to put it on our Facebook page or even email me, and I'll be glad to let everybody know about it.
I will. Thank you.
All right, and until next time, hopefully, maybe when you get your next book out or something, we'll talk to you again. And until then, have a nice day, as they say.
You
Enjoy
too.
the weather.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Thanks very much, DA. Goodbye.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, definitely different that was, wasn't it? Now, as I say, zombies. Well, I'm sure DA is going to be still in the chat room for a while, so if you want to ask him any questions there, or you can always send him. We can always send him some questions via Facebook. I'm sure he wouldn't mind that. And so, what do you think, guys? Do you think? I thought I might hang about a bit. You carry on there, DA. You can stay as long as you like, my love. As I say, I'm sure people might ask you more questions because they normally talk amongst themselves while we're on. So, don't they, Steve?
Yes, they do.
My battery's decided to go, or it will be in a minute. So, it has been one of them days. So, Patrick shared Neil's mic with him. Yeah.
Shared love.
So. But it's definitely been one of them days, hasn't it, dear?
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's been a major pain in the rear end. But these things are sent to try us.
Yeah, and try us they will.
We'll still come out the other side, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, well, as I say, while we were talking to DA there, we had a few people come on the show, onto the chat room. She says, breaking everything.
Sue got the mouse.
God. It's
That's
because
clear,
I'm all tangled up here. Yes. Now I can hear you, Sue. Yes, I know. My mic went all off, so I'm going to move that over there. So I was just about to say, funny you should say that, because I was just about to say how John came on. So it's nice to see John there from Minnesota.
Oh, Doc Savage.
Doc Savage.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that made me think about on that last subject there is, yeah, I mean, we've had lots of drugs that make people strong and all the rest of it, but what kind of chemical would make somebody want to eat somebody's face?
I know, they must be in some warped state of mind for that, surely. What do you think, Neil? Grab the mic.
I think it's just a mental state. It's a psychosis, you know. Like I was talking earlier on about schizophrenia and things like that. I mean, I've seen some really bad cases of schizophrenia.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't even recognise themselves, and they go through so many character changes throughout the day. You know, it's very, very similar to that. It's just, I think it's just chemicals in the brain, you know, and if you're adding drugs to that, you know, and you're mixing these chemicals in the brain with drugs, you know, it's obviously just going to.
Well, it's like DA just said there, he can't imagine what makes a person go cannibal. So
yeah, that's it. It's more cannibalism than it is zombies, to be honest.
This is it. So, Jeff?
Yeah, but the thing about it all, with the drugs, it does screw your mind up, and that's what happens. They don't know what they're doing. They see you as anything. They can even see you as aliens, because they're really screwed up, and that's the trouble.
Yeah, but why would they see you as food?
Food?
Well, it's like anything else. When you're under the influence of a drug, it does create your mind. You see different things. It could see you as an animal, it could see you as an alien. It's a natural response of anything that they're frightened of is to attack. So attacking could be just literally eat you and rip you apart.
So their operation is that designed because they're doing it on an influential basis, or it's because it's a natural instinct?
It's natural instinct.
Why is it always a bad scenario where they have to go and attack or rip somebody's face off?
I've seen a guy who he'd taken magic mushrooms, and he actually thought his socks on the end of his bed was a dog trying to attack him, and he was trying to attack this pair of socks. Or this, you know, it was like a ball of socks at the end of his bed.
This is very common. That's the thing about it.
And he was quite violent towards a pair of socks.
Some people react in different ways to different things. And some people might see a pair of socks and think it's been attacked by them. Some people might see something like that's funny and make them laugh, you know, things like that. So, would they as well themselves say the guy, whoever was experiencing the negative side of things, i.e. the socks, and he wanted to bite someone's face off? Would that also apply to somebody who was experiencing the opposite, where it was just making them laugh, and even though they've been exposed to the same thing?
Everybody reacts differently to the drug. We're not all the same chemical.
This is the idea. This is what I'm saying. Is it an influential basis, or is it a natural instinct?
I think I can understand what you're saying, and I think it's just the bad cases that are getting reported. The people who are actually doing the bad stuff. So there's probably loads more out there that are doing happy things.
Yeah.
The opposite.
That's quite right.
But not being reported because it's not a crime. It's not a crime to laugh down the street, is it?
No.
Try my cooking.
That's what I do.
It's always the the headline stuff that gets out there, and from past experience with things, the headlines are always worse than what they actually are.
Well, I think the media hypes up a lot of the headlines though as well.
Sensationalise it. That's
you
correct.
know, I mean, obviously, somebody might come on the on the media that face were written out, taken off by unrecognised by whatever the case is, and really it's not. It's just probably a nose that's out of alignment or something like that. It's just that the idea is because what has happened is unthinkable.
Yeah.
Then obviously it's Chinese whispers, isn't it, as well? And it's like, you had a little bit on, and by the time the public get it, it's like, oh my God, so you create your own picture of what's actually gone on.
Well, it's like Ricky just said, look what drink does to you. It's the same thing.
Yeah, this is it, so...
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen a headline that says that a dog's attacked a baby and ripped its face off, and when you've actually seen the pictures, yes, the baby's in a bad way, but the face is still there.
Yeah,
and that's very rare anyway.
You can just see the actual bite marks.
Yeah.
And
you usually can't tell you can't see the face probably because of the blood and the openings maybe, but once they've had surgery, the stitches, the clean up and things like that, then obviously, there is people that do go beyond recognition, I suppose. It does happen. It does happen, but a lot is just beefed up really, but that was just a thought really.
So you enjoyed that conversation?
Yeah, it was intriguing. It's not something that I'm used to listening to, on that type of thing. So it's different. I like things that are different.
Yeah.
Gets the thought, gets your mind going.
It does get your mind going, doesn't it?
Because if it's a possibility, then the possibilities arise. Then that's something worth thinking about, isn't it? So we can't.
And it is a strange phenomenon at the moment. It's the first. It's stuff that's coming out into the open.
And the military to be paying for things like that as well. I find that a little bit weird as well.
Why?
Exactly.
The whys and wherefores comes into it, and you think, well, are you wasting money, or is there something to think about here?
Well, it's like when Jimmy Carter pumped all that money into a UFO fund.
Yeah.
In America we needed that. I mean, why? They've always spent all these years denying this exists and that exists, but why do that?
I think they're bringing the army into that because they're expecting an epidemic.
Yeah.
And again, it's Chinese whispers. I think because there's so many cases being reported now, they're thinking, there's going to be this mad epidemic.
But don't you think that the US Navy, what I read here, are a little bit dramatic in their response, though, because they turned around and said that what they would do, their simulation training thing would be a bomb will explode, injuring the VIP, where the law enforcers and first responders must take action. So they're blowing up these VIPs so that it's either that or they don't get chewed. You know what I mean?
A bit OTT, really. As usual.
I'm actually going to bring this in on track. I mean, I work for a close protection company, as you know.
Yeah.
And we don't have any simulation for zombie attacks.
No.
So I'm actually going to write a piece tomorrow that's going to bring in a simulation for a zombie attack.
Well, everyone's doing it.
It's ridiculous.
We'll do a risk assessment.
We do.
It does sound ridiculous.
I'm going to love you.
Oh, they are tomorrow, yeah. But we do a simulation for people who are on cocaine or the normal drugs like PCP would react.
But this is what we're calling zombies now. We're calling them not the get up out your grave and start chomping on people zombie. We're talking about people with that mind.
Infused.
Yeah,
Some people take
even back to the Wade Davis book. the hallucinations.
It's a different reaction to everybody's. Everybody's brain's different. The way it reacts to the chemicals in the brain are mixed up. That I mean, some people are allergic to aspirin. You can't take an aspirin because it reacts in a different way than what.
It's causing a buzz on the chat room. They're all talking about it. DA says he loves talking zombies. Well, talking about zombies can't talk. Chris L said, I watched The Walking Dead and think that's pretty close to how it might be. Joe said, going on about drinks and drugs and what have you. Gemma from Club Zero said, I can talk about zombies all day. Chris. So
is she calling you a zombie, Chris?
So
as usual.
Well, it probably is.
Was mine dead?
They're all they're really interested in this. You know what I mean? So DA, you've really sparked enthusiasm into the chat room over this. It's something that I really never thought that they'd be interested in, but it is quite an interesting subject.
I mean, what you need to take into account, apart from any physical drug you take, the biggest effect of any drug in your system is adrenaline. And once that kicks in, you just do not know where that's going to take you.
Well, this is it. Well, DA Roberts is the author, and if you'd like to have a look at his book, it's on Amazon, and he's told you all about that, and I'm not going to say it again in case I offend him with saying it wrong. But do you remember what it was called?
Ragnarok
Rising, yep.
Ragnarok
the Rising.
Ragnarok Rising, The Awakening. So have a look, and
his new one's out next month.
Next month. So basically, have a look. It could be the new thing in zombies. Forget all the other stuff. It could be the new line in zombie material and stuff like that.
Are you here first on KPT?
KTPF.
Keep the panel friendly.
Stop talking so fast, Jeff.
Sorry.
Yeah, you've heard
I'm
it
still
here
stuck on the
first
bit
in
when
the
you
UK.
said you've seen it here.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah, you've heard it here on the KTPF Community Talk Show in the UK. So hopefully it will be quite popular in the UK for everybody else. What was that? Where zombies
have a smiley face. Well, we've got to think lateral these days now, haven't we?
So thank you very much, DA. It's been great, and it's nice to see you still in the chat room, and you've been fantastic as well. But as I say, well, better get on to the next subject. Time is fleeting, so with everything going AY, you're going to have to tell people about the event. So you're all ready for us?
I haven't got a computer at the moment.
Oh right, okay. So you lost altogether.
Computer says no.
Yeah, computer says no at the moment.
Oh dear.
We'll all hum and you can make a brew. Right?
That's all right. I can do the events.
I will turn it on and see.
Give you something to do, Steve.
I'll be glad when you get that new one. Not the computer, the lead. Anyway.
Well, the lead hasn't broke on the kettle. I know that.
You've been here more than once.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what it is. Go on, Neil, get it.
I'll tell you what. While you're on your feet, Jack.
Do you know what? I washed these yesterday.
Sorry.
Be careful. Right, okay, well, what we're going to do, we like to have fun here as well, so it's not all, what's the name? Gemma's asking for his email address now.
Ooh.
Careful, DA, she'll be sending you flowers next. Sent me a box of chocolates.
Maltesers?
So
No, they've been eaten. It was just a packet.
There was actually a remark somewhere that they believe that Americans believe more in the paranormal and everything else than anywhere else.
It's
in
big
the
over
country.
there, isn't it?
It is
Look
big.
at Halloween.
Yeah.
Pay more for it.
Halloween, I mean,
Yeah, they took it
the
from
man
us
over
and
there.
made it big. We just potter about now.
No,
Or was
It's
it? They,
not the same for us,
They
is it?
took
No.
the essence of Halloween
Yes.
and turned it into a party.
that's right. Yeah, that's what they did. They took the essence.
But they
of-
celebrate that party in style.
Oh,
they know,
yeah,
they,
they
they know
do.
how to
Style.
swing, don't
Yeah.
they? over
Yeah.
there,
We
you know.
tried to take their trick or treat, and we don't do it half as good, do we? Really?
No.
You know.
We don't
So-
do it.
You know.
I mean,
But-
we don't want tricks or treats. We want these kids now. We want money, don't they?
Yeah,
They want,
well,
or
this is it.
you know,
So,
and if it's
you know.
if it's not less than a fiver, they don't want it.
No.
A bit through your window or something.
Absolutely.
This
Very
is
true,
it.
that. Yep. Very true.
Oh, his family are all Scots. So he has got a bit of UK in him somewhere,
I hope so.
seeing as he's in America. So, but as I say, from what when I keep seeing American programs, it's as if our lot went over there and started the whole thing anyway.
Absolutely.
All the founding fathers. So
Well, it looks like he's started getting a following already.
he is. Keep it up,
Gemma's gonna
DA.
spread the
You'll be
word.
fine. I don't know. Right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll go on to the events and I'll do them then, shall I?
Yeah, I had them all separated onto a separate page, and then my computer went bye-bye.
Oh dear. So, is it gone bye-bye still?
I'm trying to get back. But,
Steve's laptop. Oh look. Am I able to get it? Don't know what it is. What's today's date? It's not the
20th
30th.
today.
20th?
No, you won't get it, Sue, because it wasn't saved. It was just an open document.
Ah, right, okay. So, right, well what I'm going to do
I'm
is...
going to try and go back so I can see the chat room anyway.
Yeah, well I'm going
You
to...
go for the other bit.
Right, for those of you who don't know, the paranormaleventsforyou.com has finally changed over, and the new one is up and running, so you can go on there and you can register and put your events on that are pertaining to the paranormal. So if you go to paranormaleventsforyou.com, you will see the new site, and when you register, you'll actually be registering to the network, which is the Trifield Paranormal Network. And as I say, you can always pop back on the events directory and add your events. Now, please remember not to include the prices, and because it's all about keeping the paranormal friendly. And what I'll do is I'll just try and find out where they are myself, and we'll let you know exactly what's going on. And let me just open these so I can see who's doing what and where. How far did you go down to? Did you do March, Steve?
I went to the end of March.
Did you? Right, okay. So we'll just get that in there and find out who's doing where and what. Because it is a bit different. I'm going to have to change that actually. Oh, that's April. We don't want to go that far. Right, okay. We're going to do the paranormal events for you. So,
We've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Call now.
fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Right, okay, well, first up this month we have a monthly psychic night in Harlow at the Park Inn, and that's every month on the 21st. Okay, on the 23rd of February we have the Anglesey Arms Wells Ghost Hunt, which is in Carnarvon, Gwynedd, and that's with 6 Sense Paranormal. That's 6 Sense North Wales. On the 2nd of March we have Doncaster Air Museum, and that's with DI Paranormal UK. And also on the 2nd of March you'll find The Haunting are taking you to Alton Towers, so you can contact them as well. On the 8th of March at Craigenos there's a dinner, B&B and history tour, and that's all being run by Prestige Paranormal. And on the 9th of March, a bit closer to home, we're at Stockport Masonic Hall, Guild Hall with the UK Shadow Seekers. Okay. What? It's in Wales. Craigenos?
Where in Wales?
I don't know. Sorry, I've got to go back. Craigenos is in Swansea. Sorry, in Wales. See?
Black Rock.
The Black Rock. Okay. Also in on the 16th of March, there is the start of monthly psychic one-to-one readings with Neil Munnerley in the Manchester area, and also tarot and psychometry readings with intuitive clairvoyant Suzanne Lilly. And on the 16th of March again, you can also find DI Paranormal. They will be doing the Pendle Hill experience. And on the 23rd of March, DI Paranormal will also be going to the Morecambe Winter Gardens. Lovely place. And on the 23rd of March again, Spirit Watch Paranormal will be taking you to Pendle Hill. So they'll be doing the Pendle Hill as well. And I think that's it. That's it right up until the end of March. And so if you want to check them out, they're all on paranormaleventsforyou.com. So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events available now. Paranormaleventsforyou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. Paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory.
Coming soon.
No, not yet. Sorry. The pause has gone on that one. Right, so that are the events for this week, for this month and next month. And for those who've just joined us, we've had a very bad day for electrics. And as Andy says, welcome to the Taggart's Lounge again. As you can see, we're fully booked here. We've got quite a few people in. And we're going to go on to our next segment because people are looking at their phones now. I mean, at their watches and thinking, ooh. Oh, that's it. That's all right then. Right, okay. So as I said to you before, we've got Chris and Jeff here.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello there.
Hello. You all right?
On one of these days, I'll join you. You're going to have to, Andy. He wants us to go down to Essex. Don't laugh.
Well, that's a good idea. You can do
That's
it,
what
do
he
it
wants
from
me to do.
different areas.
That's what he wants me to
Good
do.
evening. Well, this week we're live from Essex on the KTPF Paranormal Community Radio Show. Next week, and then they can all come in and then you just think.
Yeah. We did Morecambe Winter Gardens. We've done a Wednesday night live
Can
show.
be done, can it?
Interactive.
Hmm.
Investigation, didn't we, Neil?
Yeah, we did.
Can be done.
Yeah, we'll do it in Andy's living room next month then.
Next month.
Andy, they're coming down your way.
Disconnected. Oh, that sounds good.
Excuse me, guys. I'm
What?
about to blow my nose and it sound over the mic. It sound terrible.
Oh, we're back again. In my office, he said. It's mid-afternoon here, and DA says, right. Well, it's getting on for 9 o'clock. All right, it's got getting on for 9:30. So what we're going to do first, we're going to talk about science and psychic, Mr. Andrews, from Club Zero.
Hello.
Paranormal.
Hello.
We've known each other for years, haven't we?
Quite a few years, yeah.
It's going quite a few years, hasn't it?
Quite a few.
We were just talking about this recently with Neil, weren't we? How long we've actually known each other. The time goes fast, doesn't it?
Well, it does, yeah. I don't. Well, I mean, it's our 10th year this year.
Yeah.
Anniversary for us. So.
And for those of you who don't know, Chris is our granddad.
Well, Club Zero is anyway.
Yeah.
Someone go and do your old granddad a cup of tea for his cup, please.
Yeah, Chris is our granddad. Let me just tell you a little story. Club Zero started. Was it Club Zero first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2003. Club Zero
And then
goes
from Club Zero became,
Phase 2 Paranormal.
yeah, I mean, in between then.
It was
But
Club
no,
Zero.
Yeah,
where-
but what I'm saying is then a couple went off and started TP, Tameside
Yeah.
Paranormal, and then Tameside Paranormal fizzled.
That's right, yeah. It
And
was,
from
some of our
that
team members
came UK Shadow Seekers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Granddad.
I don't know what to say to that.
Chris that sent us to Tameside.
It was Chris that sent us to Tameside. So,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
So,
I remember, yeah.
yeah. Because we
I
was having
remember.
problems at the Cavendish
That's
Mill.
a few years ago, that,
It
you know.
was, yeah.
But look at you.
I
You
know.
Look at what you've done, your achievements, what you've done.
It
I
was
think it's
actually
phenomenal
Yvette
what you've done.
Fielding's, Yvette Fielding at Antics that suggested we came to you, and you sent us to TP.
Well, when I was having a meeting with Carl Beatty, and we were sat in Antics Productions' office, and he actually said to me, he said we get phone calls from people asking about paranormal and things like that, and we put them over to you. And I thought, right, okay, well, I've not heard anything, but then you've told us that, since and so I thought, fair enough, so which is very good of them.
The name's there.
Oh yeah,
They know everyone.
oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
anyway, right, we're going to get on with this. So how are we going to do this then? Psychic and science, Chris. This was all your idea.
Well, you got the yin, hence the logo on the T-shirt. You got the yin yang effect, haven't you?
Yes.
That's why we've sort of chose the logo for that. The yin
Yeah.
You got you got so many people in the world in the population that are all for the psychic side of things, and you have people that are all for the science side of things. Even though if the psychic and the science can sort of overstep each other, do you know what I mean? And they can but they can also work together. You know what I mean? So the science is technically. It depends on how you look at it. I mean, I've always said anyway, which is no disrespect to any mediums or psychics there, but to be their worst nightmare on a psychic level, because if I'm doing something on a scientific level, then everything that comes out, it's got to be proven to me. Do you know what I mean? And that's not. Even though, but there's people out there that have experienced things on a psychic level, myself included, but it's just that sometimes I think that I refuse to believe that, because it's you got on a rational level, we use tools of the trade to do what we need to do, but we need to use ourselves at the same time, and this is where the psyche and the science can work together in harmony. And you've got the yin yang, hence you've got the little dots of each, haven't you, inside there?
Yeah.
You need a little piece of everything. So that's what I think anyway, but I mean different people are different, and I think it achieves different things, doesn't it? Anyway, the science, behind it, you can explain so many things. I mean, if it's easy for somebody for me personally, for somebody to come along and say, well, I'm getting this here, this, that and the other. which is fair enough. But me, I need to do something where I can deliver answers. I can prove to. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's no disrespect. If say I was doing somebody give us a phone call, they're having problems in the home, and they wanted somebody to visit them on that nature. First thing I'd do or try to do is not prove or disprove any paranormal sources there. I would try to sort of give them peace of mind, because I believe that's where it starts from inside, and understanding the energies around you. You've got to start understanding yourself first, and there's so many natural causes of things, like essential eating animals, dust particles, you name it. And what we can't explain today, we could explain a week down the line. There's an answer, because I'm always sort of sitting there devising different theories about different things. But then you have the psychic side of things, where people do receive readings and people do receive information with uncanny accuracy.
Yeah.
And I know Jeff, he gave me a reading, one of the meetings, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was, yeah.
And he told me something, that no one's ever told me before in all the years that we're doing it. And I thought, well, because I've always been, you've got to be sceptical about it. Yeah, probably. But I mean, I always used to think the things that have happened in my life, if there's no mediums have ever told me anything about it, of anything like that. But Jeff's told me a couple of things, and it's sort of, okay, But I do know it exists because I have done it myself. But I won't acknowledge that fact. So someone's writing on there, but I don't know what they're putting there. I think I've done it as well, haven't I, Chris? Yeah, you have, Gemma. You have. So it's, that's the area that I'm talking about.
Is that our little Gemma?
Yeah.
All right.
Little,
I didn't recognise it because I thought it was a G and not a J.
Midget. Yeah, that's what that's what.
Hi, Gemma.
Little midget gem.
So, but
you need to get your T-shirt done, chicken. Good egg. Anyway, plug that in quick. So what I'd like to do is first thing is peace of mind. Give that person peace of mind, and I know a psychic can do that as well at the same time, because a lot of people, if you're doing the meetings, which we've got our meeting coming up, a lot of people actually turn up for the meetings because of a psychic nature. If you put down on the board, on an A board outside, psychic night, people will turn up to that. If you put down paranormal equipment demonstration and paranormal debate and talk on a scientific level, people probably wouldn't turn up to it as much as what they would with a psychic night. So there is a lot of want and need for that side of things, but because of that, I look at things where it's easy for things to get overshadowed. So you need to keep both aspects, the psychic side of things and the science. That's what I think. I think they can go hand in hand with each other quite well, I think.
What do you think, Neil?
Well, I'm always one for the science side anyway.
I know.
And I think the science side should always be there to back up the psychic side. It's not just about the psychic side, but it's anything paranormal. It should be there to back it up.
Yeah.
So, but the trouble that you've got now, or the trouble that it's always been there, it's always been present, is scientists will not believe. Even if they've got good proof, they refuse to put it on paper because they don't believe. It's not about dissing it. They just don't want it to be made public.
It's game over, I think, isn't it? Though, I think it doesn't matter how much proof that they have, it'll never be accepted. I don't think.
Yeah.
The world would never accept it, and you could have it physically there, and it just wouldn't be accepted.
Well, if
I think is Gemma, are you calling Chris in the morning or me? So it's just I'm going to call you in the morning.
It's similar to the religion bit. We've just proved that the Big Bang did happen.
Yeah.
It's been proven.
Yeah.
But all the religious people out there, and I'm not dissing religious people, they do not want to believe that.
No.
That's it's a sore subject for me, actually, that one.
Why?
Religion at the moment, because I've just.
Why don't they just say that God created the Big Bang and it all works out from there?
There you are. It's a win-win situation.
Job done.
Yeah.
Why is it? Make sure you speak in the top of the mic.
I will, because lately, there's not too much I can say, but which regards religion, I try to stay away from it as much as I can. But I've had discrepancies with the church lately, which sort of threw me a little bit when we was accused of being occultists and and things like that. Being blamed for being occultist, and because clairvoyance, and where you would do clairvoyance or a psychic in the club would do that to clairvoyance, they said. I was informed that they believed that was batting for the other camp, as it was evil, with devil worshippers or whatever you want to call it, Where my argument back was, and again, I don't mean this to offend anybody who's, everyone's got their own belief. My argument was, if people who go to church, then obviously they worship somebody, a mythical being, whoever, and they believe in demonic possession. They believe in evil spirits. Well, that's a cultist if you're looking at it in that way. And if you're praying to somebody and you're asking for answers back, then that's a form of clairvoyance, So if you look at it that way, so we was being accused of doing something that they take on and do themselves. So I found that hypocritical. So
very much so.
Very hypocritical. I don't condone any church branding any paranormal investigators or paranormal researchers or documenters as evil or of anything like that, unless of course it was going around crucifying cats. And
Are you talking about the Catholic Church there?
I don't know what church. It was just a church that slammed us for being occultists because of the beliefs that we had of paranormal nature. So
So I worked for the Higher Church of England. Did it for 4 years. I did all the I did a lot of stuff for them, but a lot of it was exorcism work. But I did that for 4 years. And they're very, very open to what we do.
Yeah.
And that's the Higher Church of England. It's not.
I don't know who this was. It was on a Facebook, but I know it was an archbishop anyway, so that did this. We sort of put these posts down, and I put my post back, and we finished it with told me to go in peace type of thing, and left it at that. But they still stipulated that the argument that I was putting over was wrong. And and justifying that their own argument and still standing by the fact that we back for the other side. And I thought, well, back for the other side. What you're saying. You can't have one without the other anyway, can you?
No, it's got to go hand in hand.
You can't. Because where religion is confused, I won't delve into it because I think it's completely, it's stupid.
I would say that as a paranormal group, i.e. association, whatever you want to call yourselves, society, we actually stand in the middle. We don't stand on either side. We actually stand straight in the middle because we have to work, in some cases, with both sides.
Yeah.
Reiki Debs has just said on there, even yoga classes in some church halls have been banned.
Yeah. Which is ludicrous, really.
It is completely ridiculous.
So is there on your chat room there? Don't confuse occultists with Satanists. I know they're not to be confused because you've got occultists and Satanists. Occultists can look into cryptozoology, demonology, and all this type of thing. It doesn't, a Satanist would be obviously, the Trinity, the early Trinity, and things like that. And they look at things in a different light, So they can be oppositely, different. Just looking at your chat room on there, just to put that correct.
Yeah. What do you think, Neil?
Well, I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form, so I don't believe in religion. Never have done, and never will do. I just work on the proof that I'm given, the way I've been taught. The people I speak to in the spirit world, they teach me everything. It's always ongoing. So
that never ends. It is.
Yeah.
It's always learning facts from them.
We only know the tip of the iceberg, the very, very tip of the iceberg, and what's underneath is just a long way to go yet.
Yeah.
Long way.
Yeah. And we're always learning. Spirit always comes to us and teaches us something different every day.
Every generation will learn something new to do with the paranormal or spiritualism or whatever you want to call it. And each generation is growing stronger, And I think, and it's just my thinking, but I think the church are getting scared.
Yeah, because we're more proof.
Because it's growing.
That's exactly.
And there's big changes that are happening now in this generation with the children that are being born now. There's a lot more energy around. More children are being born quite open or more open than what they were, in
and the parents encourage them as well.
Exactly.
Which is good.
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, it's a natural, isn't it? Psychic, isn't that? Wouldn't you say? Me personally, it might take time or years to develop. But I would have thought it was a natural aspect anyway. It's a natural gift.
Everybody's born with the gift.
So if you was to have that on a natural ability, who would, I don't see how that could be questioned or classed as, you're evil because you have this ability, sir. Get out of you demons. That type of thing. I find it, it's just I just don't agree with it. Plus, I think that I keep away from religion myself, like yourself, then, because I think religion's caused more deaths than both world wars together over the years.
Absolutely. The problem you have, and to be honest, a lot of people would say it couldn't happen now, but I wouldn't put it past them. Every time the church gets scared, there's a war or there's something big happens which tries to wipe something out every single time that the church decides to get scared over something.
That's the same with governments as well.
Instead of working with it.
It's exactly the same as a government. You know, when you get so close to an answer that they don't want you to know, something will be put in. You know, a spanner will be put in the works, whether it's a war or whether it's a terrorist attack or whether it's something will happen to veer or steer away from getting the true answer.
That's quite true.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, it's supposed to be. It wasn't these scriptures or Jesus Christ scriptures or something that was the testaments of him or something that was found, and the church are denying the existence of them or something because it goes against what the church preaches. You know, because these scriptures apparently say worship whoever, you know, in your own way, how you want to do it. Where the church would say no, you must come to church and worship, whatever. I don't know. I just sort of, it's just things that I've read. And looked at, but
that's what happens when somebody decides which part of the scriptures you're supposed to believe. I mean, we know there's 13 books that is not in the Bible, but the Vatican have got.
200 years was wiped out from one testament to the other as well, wasn't it? But
yeah, completely, because it didn't agree with whoever was in charge at the time when this particular religion became a big thing.
Just letting you listeners know, by the way, there's no disrespect to any people out there whatsoever.
Personal beliefs always.
It's just a little debate.
It all started with one big conclave where all the religious leaders and the rulers of Rome decided what was going to go in.
The problem that you've got now is the church has become a business over the years, and that's what it is. It's predominantly a business. Yeah. And if you look at the Catholic Church, it's the biggest mafia going. You know, they are producing so much money in the millions. You know, and the Church of England is the same. You know, it's a money-making business. There's no chance.
But
that's what religion's turned into.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting down the conspiracy theory route here again.
But is it science and psychic?
Is it though?
I don't know. Is it?
We know it's a real aspect. So.
But
I mean, every religion has its own part to play. Not to its spiritualism, Hindu, or whatever. The thing about it, the fact is that it's interpreted from the Bibles or their own personal religious books. Well, who decides that? Who decides what's correct and what's right and what's wrong out of the books? Because bearing in mind that was written thousands of years ago. Yeah. Over the years, people interpret it how they want to interpret it, whether it's right or wrong.
Right, so are we going to start out this PowerPoint thing? Yeah?
Yep.
Are we? Let me just... It's that time again where if you don't want to look away now. Otherwise, you might get giddy. So bear with me.
We'll keep talking.
I don't have to take my clothes off again, do I?
While she's playing. Yes, you do. But that means everybody's going to go away.
Oh, right, yeah. Emma's got to do it, hasn't she? Because you're doing a demonstration.
No, yeah. I'm going to do this first.
No, clothes off.
Right.
Oh, clothes off. Yeah. Emma's volunteered to take clothes off while we do proper.
Yeah.
I put it right in blood.
Can I just say that the basic concept of all religions is really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's when you
get
people
together.
When you get people that crave the power of leading it and things like that, that's when it becomes a problem.
It creates health, though. It is healthy in a sense because it allows people like from different religions, different beliefs, and different whatever to converse and discuss like we're discussing it now. It's just, you know, if other people out there could take it as it's just a general discussion, and we've got a right to have a discussion rather than fanatics who will take it the wrong way. If you understand my drift. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know that,
That's a bit stop.
I know we. When people talk about fanatics these days, they tend to think of the Muslim religion, but we have fanatics in all religions.
Well, exactly. I don't think any religion is pinpointed. I think it's the same everywhere, isn't it? It's the same everywhere.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say that because we didn't want people taking it wrong, so to speak. If you know what I mean.
Definitely not. And certainly no offence.
Get to his PowerPoint.
What's that thing you put a golf ball on?
A tee.
That's the one, yeah, not sure.
Well, we knew it was coming. I've got my bit to do now.
Right, are you going to be alright there for pushing the button?
You like Chris push the button?
You're always moaning about me pushing your buttons.
Push the button.
Which button am I pushing? Is it this one? That one there.
Thanks very much, DA I hope to see you again soon, and we'll keep an eye on your website. All the best, my love. Bye.
Bye, DA.
Okay, I think I'm on.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Knott. He's got a PowerPoint for you to look at.
I'll talk you through as we go along.
He's going to talk through it as we go along. We're talking chakras at the moment.
Chakras.
So over to you, Jeff.
Good evening, everybody. Right, welcome to me, which is Jeff Knott, the spiritual medium and Reiki master. And we'll talk about chakras. So if Chris press the button for me, please. Next slide. Welcome to the chakra workshop. Chakra, by the way, is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel. And that comes from the Hindu, going back thousands of years. Okay, Chris, next. So content, what are chakras? The 7 chakras and balancing chakras. What we would actually do is talk you through it all on the PowerPoint, and then I've got lovely Emma here who will actually be demonstrated on balancing the chakras. Again, like I said, chakra comes from the Sanskrit word for wheel. A chakra has been described as a rotating wheel of an energy vortex. Conical in shape, and each one has its own colour and vibration, as we'll see later on. 7 chakras. We still have the crown chakra. Okay, the purple. Yeah. And the crown chakra, basically, it's from the top of the head. It's the understanding, it's a spiritual connection, if you'd like to call about that, the highest realm. Colour is amethyst, it's violet. The brow or the third eye chakra. Now this, though, if you're psychic or openly aware to the spirit world or anything psychically aware at all, this one that communicates with the seeing eyes, I call it. Okay, this again is blue. The throat chakra, that's all about communication. Just imagine, it's all about talking, understanding, and communicating with everything else. The heart chakra is to do with emotions, sensitivity, and that's used at aventurine rose quartz, and it's green. Solar plexus chakra is yellow. It's power, it's vitality. Just a point, they also have notes to do with them, as in frequency notes. And the note for this one is E. If anybody's is musical out there, you know where your musical octave are, it's near registered. The sacral or navel chakra is orange, and it's carnelian. That's sexuality and emotions. So just imagine that you're feeling a bit sick in your stomach. Well, that's that one that's been affected. And your base or your root chakra, this is obviously to do with your physical needs, your actual sexuality, if you'd like, if you want a better word. Okay, next slide, Chris. Here we go, it all explains it. Quick one through. The first one, the root chakra, is the base of the spine. Physical needs, obsidian and garnet, colour red, and it's a musical note of C. Now the idea of this is that because all chakras spin at different speeds, the root is the slowest spinner, and you can actually balance them using music notes. So C is a note you would use, like a tuning fork, to actually balance it. The second, the sacral one, lower abdomen, sexuality, emotions, carnelian is a gemstone. Again, you can balance them with gemstones. This is why I put gemstones up there. It's orange, and the musical note of D. The third, or solar plexus, is a power and vitality. The stone is citrine and topaz. The colour is yellow, and again, the musical note is E. The fourth and the heart one is a love, aventurine, rose quartz. Now, rose quartz is a very powerful healer as well. The colour green, and the musical note of F. The throat chakra, which is the fifth one, is all about communication and talking and getting things out in the open. It's a azurite gemstone, light blue, and the musical note of G. The sixth and the third eye is a brow chakra, like I said, intuition. So again, that's the third eye, communication through the third eye, psychic awareness. Lapis lazuli, which is the gemstone, indigo in colour, and the note of A. And the seventh, the crown chakra, is the top of the head. It's the understanding, and that is supposed to lead directly to the spirit world, if you like, or the major energy of the universe that picks up on it. It's again amethyst, quartz, violet in colour, and note of B. Okay, Chris? Okay, now we're in depth of them. The first chakra base, root red. This is located at the base of the spine, so like on your coccyx if you like, meant a word. But all your chakras run down your spine from part to part. Now you've got 7 basic chakras, but you do have many others as well. It's the grounding energy centre, keeping our feet firmly on the ground and our minds focused on physical and creative matters. It also governs our reproductive organs and sexual vitality. The second chakra, the spleen, which is orange in colour, is located just beneath the navel and relates to our sexual and reproductive capacity. Blockages manifest themselves as emotional problems or sexual guilt, again feeling sick in the stomach. The third chakra, solar plexus, is yellow. It's the seat of all emotion. It gives a sense of personal power in the world. Blockages manifest itself as anger or a sense of victimisation. So if you're frustrated at somebody, it's this what's usually messed up. The heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra, is green. This controls unconditional feelings and thoughts, associations, relationships and matters of the heart. Blockage can manifest as immune system or heart problems or lack of compassion, feelings that nobody loves you, nobody cares about you, and you have no love for anybody else. The fifth chakra, the throat, it's a blue, is tied to creativity and communication. Feels pressure when you are not communicating your emotions properly. This is like not to talk, get your voice heard. So if you're a quiet person, you need to express yourself more. Okay. The sixth chakra, third eye, indigo, is a psychic eye or energy centre with the capabilities of looking intuitively and is often associated with mediums and psychics. And the crown chakra, which is purple, it connects you with the messages from the higher realms. Spiritual, can be experienced as a pressure on the top of the head. So again, this links to all the energies of the universe, whatever your beliefs are. So on to balancing chakras. Chakras can become out of balance, giving different emotions depending on which chakra is affected, from headaches to stress to stomach upsets, etc. We therefore from time to time need to check the chakras to see if they need balancing. And if they do, then proceed to balance them as follows. I thought we were on time. I'm okay, sorry. There are several methods of balancing chakras, from using sound, this was said about the tuning forks, different crystals, like we said before about putting a crystal each part of the chakra, Reiki energy, which is healing energy, and pendulums, which I'm going to demonstrate shortly. We're going to use the pendulum method as follows. This is a typical balancing pendulum. As you can see, it's got all the colours required to balance them from different gemstones. So they've got 7 colours up. Now the method we're going to use today is to take the pendulum and ask it to show it a yes. And this will note which way it swings. So again, I will demonstrate this shortly. Again, ask the pendulum to ask it to show us no movement and note which way it swings. So one will swing left normally, or one will swing clockwise or anti-clockwise depending. So we're going to hold the pendulum over the first root chakra, which is the base chakra, and ask it, does this chakra need balancing? Now this is critical we do this, because if we don't ask it and we try to balance it, you can put the chakras out of flutter and make them worse. Either close them down or open them up and make them worse, so they're hypersensitive, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So that is because it goes at a certain vibration, a certain speed, we have to make sure that it carries on running at the same speed it should be, not too fast or not too slow. So we're going to hold the pendulum over the base, the root chakra, and ask the pendulum to balance it, and to watch how the pendulum starts to swing, allowing it to naturally come to a rest, which could take a few minutes, and this now has balanced the chakra. Once this has been balanced, proceed through all the chakras with the same method, finishing with the 7th and crown chakra. Remember, you always check for yes and no to balance or not. Now bear in mind, we start at the root, because you always work upwards, and then outwards, which is the crown chakra. So obviously we'll ask any questions afterwards, after we balanced it all. Okay? We're now going to actually do a demonstration.
Come on down.
Jeff, how's it going along?
Jeff, Reiki Deb's on here, and you might like this. You might even remember it. I don't. But he said the easiest way to remind yourself is the same as we were taught in school, colours of the rainbow. Richard of York gave battle in vain. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Yep, that's perfect right. Spot on that.
The actual rhyme, I haven't got a clue. I've never heard that before.
It's a very old one, yeah, but that's how we taught at school as well. So I don't know how old she is, but God bless her.
I don't think she's as old as me, actually.
Oh, well.
and we was never taught that in school. Was you, Neil? No, Neil wasn't taught that one either.
So we're going to point the camera now at Emma in a second.
Let's just make sure that we're on. Give me a minute.
I can see the
James,
band.
welcome you 29-year-old. I'm glad that you
Got a lovely
understand
light
the
shade.
That you need to go down
colour of
there.
the rainbow.
Okay, how are we doing?
Wait, have you not got to point the camera at Emma?
Emma,
Now?
Yeah.
This way? Okay.
Yeah.
get Emma on camera.
Famous.
Oh, I'll put it in the middle if you want.
Yeah,
It's-
let's put it in the middle, so make sure you can see everyone.
I can't see nothing apart from you at the moment.
Hold on, give me a minute.
That's it. Down.
While we're getting set up, has anyone got any questions about chakras?
Right, if you go
Anything that you didn't understand
that
what
way
we're going through?
a little bit. Back. Right, you've just about got Chris there, so yeah, that'd be okay. You can put Emma in the middle now.
So, Emma, do you want to come forward a bit?
Yes, we
She's standing or sitting?
we have a guinea pig.
No, I need to get you. You just turn the but yeah.
Sitting, be okay?
Yes, it's me.
Yes,
fine.
you just bring your chair
Yeah,
forward, Emma.
Your chair forward.
Do you want me to move and you come here? I'll go over there and swap places for you if you want, yeah?
You'd be actually there, really, and nobody can see then.
I have a question for you from Leanne. He said, can they open on their own?
Yes, they can. And this is the problem that you get. When you're emotionally distraught or emotionally upset or you've got other issues going on, your chakras can open too far and too wide. Now, bear in mind that I did say they're conical. If you imagine like an ice cream cone, and your point of your ice cream cone is actually in on your base, on your spine, and then the cone itself spreads out. Now, the cone can spread out inches to feet, or meters if you want to be metric, and spread out quite far. Okay. So what I want to do, when I find my pendulum, I need to get Emma facing the camera, really. So I turn the chair around so it's facing camera. Otherwise, they can't see what I'm doing.
Is this a Pacific pendulum, or is it
This is the pendulum you saw on the picture.
just one you like?
It's actually designed for it because it's got all the colours, the correct colours that we need to do to balance. So I'm going to stand up now and you can see Emma. Yeah, can. That's brilliant. That.
See Emma there?
If I can squeeze past this Chris, if you don't mind.
This way?
Well, I want to get in front of her.
Alright.
Or this side of her.
Yep,
This will be fun and games.
Don't kick the laptop. We've got enough problems with the computers as it is without that one going.
To earlier.
Yeah, Chris, do you want to
Yeah, the laptop.
Right,
See
like I
that-
said, we'll
see
start
that
with the
side.
root chakra. Oh, that's a crystal. Now, can you all see the pendulum, first of all?
Yes.
Right, the first thing we'll do with the pendulum is to ask it a yes, to show me a yes. So, pendulum, please show me a yes. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but the pendulum is actually going anti-clockwise. Okay, thank you, pendulum. Now I'm going to ask pendulum to show me a no. In theory, it should go the opposite way. Pendulum, please show me a no. That's going clockwise now. So the pendulum said no is clockwise, and yes, it's anti-clockwise. So I'm just going to bend down a bit, if Emma just move her hands a minute so it doesn't interfere. Now we'll start with the root chakra. I can, yeah, alright, we'll do it we'll do the crown chakra first. Okay. Right. Yes, I'll stand up. Okay, so again, I will ask the pendulum, does the crown chakra need balancing? So watch what it does. Going clockwise. So clockwise, as we said before, is no. So her crown doesn't need balancing. That means it's running at the right frequency, the right speed, and it's pretty okay. Right, next one we'll do is a third eye. Okay, or the brow chakra. So, does Emma's brow chakra, a third eye, need balancing? Okay, it's going anti-clockwise, that's a yes. So what we'll do now, I'll ask the pendulum to balance the chakra. And as you can see, I hope you can see it, the chakra, the pendulum is actually spinning on its own now. Now, I see how fast it's going now. I did actually say that the higher up you come in the body, the faster it goes. So obviously it must have been very, very low in energy. of a psychic ability. I need to make sure that it stops in zone, that we know that it's lined up correctly. As I say, it can take anything from a few seconds to a couple of minutes until it's happy that it's all balanced up. Right, it's starting to wane. Have you noticed now it's going side to side? What's that doing now? It's trying to fine tune it, if you like. It's more or less in the right position. Just need to fine tune it. So this will stop in a few seconds.
Yeah, and I take it you do this over every chakra.
Every single chakra. Won't take long.
Yeah, can it be done yourself, or do you actually need somebody else to do it for you?
You can do it yourself, but it's better if someone else does it for you. Okay. Right, we'll do the throat one next. So again, over the throat chakra, I ask it, does the throat chakra need balancing? That's a yes, it's going anti-clockwise. So now, as I said before, the throat is communication. So there's something that I need that to be balanced, maybe something that you need to say and get off the chest. So please balance the throat chakra. That's going side to side. So it's not too far out, it's just, again, fine-tuning it. It's like anything you do with any equipment, it's going to balance just spot on. That's slowing down now. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the heart chakra now. So, does Emma's heart chakra need balancing, please? Again, it's going anti-clockwise, so yes is the answer to that question. Okay, please balance Emma's heart chakra.
Chris, while Jeff's doing this, from a scientific point of view, what's your opinion of this? I mean, I know you trust Jeff and what he does.
I trust Jeff. Yeah.
Point of view, but as a scientist, so to speak.
To me, it's the first thing I'd say is that when Jeff's holding his pendulum there like that, and and it's no disrespect to you. You believe and you're good at what you do. To me, that is manipulatable because the hand can move. Your hands, you're holding your hand that like that, you're going to start to shake. You're going to start feeling your heartbeat and coming down your arm, and your pulse is going to move. So it's obviously to me that the pendulum is going to swing, and either way, and I suppose it depends on which way you go. So I'm not saying that it's not true what you're doing.
It's a bit like dowsing rods, isn't it? Really?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in things like that. But anything that's manipulatable, I'm not saying that they don't exist and what he's doing isn't true.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it leaves a lot of doubt in my mind because the manipulative
ability of it, yeah.
That as well, you know. So because they're not concrete, so and there's other explanations.
I've actually used a dowsing pendulum actually through holding it on the pen, which is away from my hand, and it still works.
Yeah. What do you think, Neil?
I'm very, very similar to Chris.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the pendulum.
Right.
I'm not dissing it.
No.
And I'm not dissing anybody's belief in using one.
Yeah.
But it has been proven as a fact that your brain actually sends very, very minute messages.
Yeah.
Down into the pendulum itself. So you're actually moving that pendulum. And it's very, very similar to tarot cards. When we were talking about this subject ages ago.
Yeah.
It's a tool. Now, basically what happens is, tarot is a tool for basically building up your clairvoyance, okay, until you get away from the cards and you can use clairvoyance on your own and you start getting direct messages, etc. Okay, so basically
we'll move down to the navel chakra now. The solar plexus was fine.
Right. Okay. Carry on now.
So basically, what I believe, or what I've been taught and what I've been told, is these minute messages are coming from the brain down into the pendulum. You're actually moving it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're moving it by the message that you get in your brain. So if Jeff gets, the chakra needs balancing in such and such a way, he's actually telling that pendulum to move that way because that's the message that he's receiving from his guide or whoever is telling him that message.
That's how you feel about it, yeah? Yeah. That's the way
I've been taught. That's the way that.
I wouldn't target that at all. I really wouldn't target that point.
Yeah.
Because again, you're influenced by, like I say, it's a tool, like anything else done. A tool has to be worked.
Yeah.
But the energies that surround universal energy that we work with, and spiritual, whatever you want to call it, psychic abilities, we are linked up together.
Yeah.
So I know, or my inner self knows what Emma needs by what her body or her energies are telling me.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're doing now.
Can I also say that?
Right.
Everybody's giving me a mic. Beautiful. That you can actually see which way it's spinning just by putting your hand over, and you can actually feel it in your hand.
That's quite right.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, and that's another way of doing it. As a medium and as a healer, Reiki master and healer, I do heal without pendulums, and I can actually feel the energies. One experiment that we've done and proves that it works is for the heart chakra. Now, have the person close their eyes and then move your hand away, and look what happens. It makes them physically sick.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I won't advise anybody to try it, by the way, because you've got to be very, very careful doing that.
On the chat room there, you've got Andy there that's just saying that the heart and the bioelectrical field is much stronger around the heart, where you could produce a field, of a magnitude. Just looking at that just for a few minutes, when I say, when we were talking about religion before and Satanisms and things like that, when Satanists, when they do satanic rituals, what they do is they have women who dress up provocatively, right? The suspenders and all that type of thing. And now the reason why they do that is not because of evil doings, it's because it's to stimulate the males, which enhances the bioelectrical fields within that area. So, just looking at that, what Andy
it's
put
very
on there.
similar in some of the witchcraft groups as well, where they would actually go naked, but that's to build up again the positive energy and then the happy thoughts and everything else.
The Haitian ones as well, where they're dancing around with the chicken and all the rest of it.
How do you feel, Emma?
Well, I think that's a question. Can you get a microphone, try me a minute, and just ask the question, what's your thought and what you felt? Just wait 1 second while we just pass over. Go forward a second. Right, how do you feel different parts of it when we're doing it, first of all?
To be honest, the only one chakra I was aware of when you were doing it was my brow chakra.
Yeah.
Because I felt like just a strange kind of buzzing sensation.
Yeah.
And like my circulation had increased in my head.
That's because it's opening it up. That's the idea behind doing it, trying to open it up, so that it makes you more aware of it, like a cyclically aware. But it also affects your emotions in your body all the way through your body anyway. So it does heal a lot of you, not just your other 6 points.
And I do feel a lot more relaxed because I've got a bit of a bad back at the minute, so I'm a bit tensed up and I feel a bit more
relaxed with it from the healing.
In my physical body, yeah.
But it does heal. When your chakras out of balance, it affects all your emotions, your physical well-being. It can make you ill, it can give you colds and make your resistance very, very low. So by balancing them, it gives that pure energy back to your body again, the pure balance of your body. And also don't forget that the people around you who can psychically attack you, if you like, from their negative emotions, this will then help to defend against it. But when you're out of balance, you're open to all kinds of emotions coming in, and this can upset you and make you feel down and make you feel low and depressed. So by balancing it now, you should turn your attitude round to make you feel more on top of the world.
Quick question for you, and again, it's not to disorientate anything what you've done, because when someone does things like that, like you just done that to Emma, then then obviously you can turn around and say that she's healed or she feels better because of the energy that you've done that. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Now it could be a case of, is that a case of that's the case of how it is, or is it a case of the placebo effect?
No,
because she actually believes what's going on.
With someone out and done it then, and they can actually feel where I am working.
Right, yeah, it's fair enough, but is it? It can work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Please don't think I'm knocking you. I'm not knocking you at all. I'm just looking at things on a rational level. That's what I have to do. If I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be in the position what I have to do. Everything would be paranormal, where there's other things that you can break down. And it does happen, and it does exist, and psychics and mediums and chakras and energy healing does exist, because energy is a strong thing.
Yeah.
It surrounds everything.
The sun's rays.
But then so is the human mind, and the human mind is probably one of the biggest energy sources going. And if somebody was to turn around and try and treat me the way they was treating me, let's say to heal me, and I genuinely believed that was going to heal me, then the placebo effect of me would kick in, and I would probably start to heal myself or feel better because I believe that's the case.
Well, it's still self-healing anyway. Everything is self-healing. It comes from within anyway, the healing. No matter how you look at it, it is self-healing. We just direct the energies where it's meant to go, and then the healing then commences and works up on itself. Goes stronger and stronger.
What you've got, you've got a field around your body. That's your aura. Okay, it's an electrical field. It reacts. Okay. If I was to go into Emma's electrical field and put my hand into her field, she would feel that. Okay. We've got chakras in the palms of our hands.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got millions of chakras all over the body. We're not just segregated to 7. We've got 7 main ones, but they root off, and we've got millions all over the body. Okay, we do have chakras in our palms of our hands, and that's where the healing energy is supposed to come from. Now, the way I believe in the healing is that it is a placebo, but the body is capable of healing itself. So what you're doing basically is you are giving the subject a placebo to allow them to kickstart their own healing process, so they do feel better. So although you're probably not doing anything, you're
could answer that really,
exactly,
couldn't they?
Yeah.
Reiki Debs would like to know. She's a Reiki healer as well. Do you use gemstones and crystals when you're giving Reiki to people?
Not normally. I've been healing now for over 20 odd years, and I developed a different kind of healing, shall we say. I'm a Reiki master, which I've done again for 20 odd years. I do teach it, but I also use a different way of doing it, which I've developed, shall we say. But yeah, ideally, I mean, if you use gemstones to heal, that's great. If you use pendulum, that's great. Whatever you feel comfortable in doing is fine, as long as that you've got that knowledge to use it, and it's also a way of treating anybody. So as Reiki does teach you to use different aspects, whether it's using the hands, using crystals, or actually using pendulums. Or again, you use music as well as a form of healing.
Yeah, and Andy said, is it a full-time profession?
Not for me, but it can be. But at the end of the day, I started off it to help people, because my belief is that we're here to help others and get involved. It is a professional job, it's qualified. I'm actually fully qualified in a lot of different healing aspects. I'm also well insured, which you have to be with anything you do.
Yeah.
Something I enjoy doing, something I enjoy for the love of it. But you can make it a full-time profession, and there's more of a need for it now than there's ever been.
Right,
yeah, Deb said that she only uses 3 gemstones when she feels she needs it sometimes. Can I just ask? I mean, basically what we're talking about here is energy healing, despite what name you want to give it. I mean, we know there's Reiki, there's Goa, there's probably about 10 or 12.
It all comes from the same source. It's the energy that's around you. No matter what you're going to call it, like Steve said, it's an energy that we tap into and that we use. It does not come from us who gives a healing. We do not give the healing. We direct the healing from the energy source. We tap into the energy source, which is universal, no matter how you look at it. Well, if you think of the sun's rays, how warm they are, and that's billions and billions of light years away, literally, you can feel the sun's rays. That's an energy. So what we do, we tap into the energy that's around the universe, which goes on for light years and forever infinitely. We tap into that and direct the healing where it's needed. Whether it's through Reiki, spiritual healing, Munnerley, anything you want to call it, it's the same thing. It's a universal energy that we're using.
Leanne wants to know, which one are you, traditional Japanese Reiki or Western Reiki?
I developed both. Japanese I started off with, of Yusha, but I've actually developed further than that now. So it's a bit of a mix of everything, to be honest.
Right, okay, so there's your answer, Leanne. And
Can anybody do it?
Anyone can heal. There's no exception to that. Unlike being a medium or a psychic, that's different. You lose it after a while. But as a healer, anyone can learn to heal. For example, I'll give a quick example of this one. A mother and child. First thing is the child cries, what to do? Pick it up.
Yeah.
You give that love, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now love is the biggest form of healing going. And you can teach healing. It's very easy to teach. Dead easy. I first thing start off by letting you feel your energy balls in between your hands.
Yeah.
And once you prove that it's there, no matter how you look at it, then that's your key factor to open this door and let the energy flow.
Right, okay. Did you want to say something, Chris? No.
No, I'm sorry. I was just listening to Jeff there. And the thing is, I think actually, that I think at the end of the day, anyway, what we were saying before about, you know, is it the energies from the psychic or the medium that's actually healing, or is it the person healing because of the placebo effect? I suppose either way, anyway, it would be down to the person conducting it, because they wouldn't, by doing what they're doing, they'd instigate a placebo effect in the first place anyway.
Reiki has to put in now. I said to look at animals. They cannot have the placebo effect, but it works on them. I treat animals, by the way.
Right, okay.
And it does work.
Well, Leanne's just come back and said, people say Reiki is speculative and there is no scientific evidence that it exists. What do you say to that?
That's incorrect. I've actually seen the measurements from your hands when you're giving healing. The heat changes dramatically from your hands, and use a heat sensor to check it all out. And also that they've also picked up different forms of magnetic forces from your hands as well. So it is a scientific effect. It does work.
So are we talking about a science? Well, an energy sort of like deep heat. Is that what you're actually giving us, sort of thing?
It's not actually deep heat.
Because you can feel the warmth.
You can feel the warmth because it's an energy. Any energy creates heat or a cold, depending on what energy you're using. It's cold fusion or whatever. But the thing about it, because you're using the energy, directing the energy through, it goes to where it needs to go to. Whether you start from your head, your shoulders, and work through your body, it goes to where it's needed. That's the thing about it, and it is powerful.
And it's just saying on there that heat change doesn't actually prove it.
You don't feel heat change actually proves it, so.
No, the heat change doesn't prove it. But scientists have actually more belief in it now and even doctors now will prescribe Reiki for some people. They actually do allow it to go ahead.
Reiki Deb says the only good thing with Reiki is you can use it from day one, and it doesn't deplete you of energy. Leanne says, Jeff, do you charge for your service?
Yes, I do. Now the reason I charge is twofold. First of all, I had to learn it, and I had to pay for the courses to learn it all. I also pay for insurance. Okay, but I also then using my time up. It's like somebody who works in a shop. They go to work and they get paid for what they do. It's no different. Even though you might say it's a gift, it is a gift. But it's a gift you actually learn, you develop, and you've got all charges for it, by even to the fact that you might have to hire someone to give healing, or like I said, I got a proper Reiki bed. Now that was very expensive to buy that. If I go to somebody's house with it, I've got to pay me fuel, got to drive there and drive back. It's all my time involved. But I will say one thing, I do it on a sliding scale. If people can't afford it, then I won't charge them. If they're working and they can afford it, then that's different. It depends on the person. I do it because I want to help and not for the money.
Andy said if a person pays, they're investing in their healing and take it more seriously.
That's very true again. That's very true.
He also says if you can prove it, a certain Mr. Randy will give you a large sum of money.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like to meet him really.
I don't think you would actually.
No, not really, no.
So I'm sure he'll find some excuse.
I don't think he's got any intent on paying that.
No, I don't.
He hasn't. No, he hasn't.
No inclination whatsoever.
No. So, Chris, science. What do you think? You feel as though it's all like Neil says, it's part of the brain and
I think we need a bit of both. We need to believe in a bit of both, but I think science to me is a more realistic issue than I mean, it's like I say before. Let's say when Jeff's doing, and and it does exist, like I said before. But when Jeff's doing the chakras, to me, to the psychic or to whoever, then it's probably the energies around that is moving. To me, it's not. It's a biochemical reaction from yourself. It's an impulse from your pulse, or it's a subconscious movement. There's 101 different explanations that can explain it and identify it in the correct terms, rather than the one single explanation that a psychic or would give you. So because there's more options. There's more avenues of exploration, but we all need to have that belief in spiritual, and we have to have that belief in a scientific level. And sometimes maybe science may be able to prove spiritualism, and maybe on the other hand, where spiritualism might be able to help coincide with prove the scientific side of things.
Can I throw it to another side of the coin? There's somebody in the chat room who's a hypnotherapist. Okay, and we've had a hypnotherapist, a past life regressionist on the panel, as a guest before. Now, you could look in at that, okay, they're putting you in a trance, they're putting you under, blah, 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 they're making you stop smoking or whatever, right? And technically, again, that person wakes up and maybe doesn't have another cigarette or Slims or whatever. Yeah, a friend of mine does a hypno band sort of thing where I think he tells them they've got a band on their stomach or something, yeah?
All right.
And makes you thinner.
Yeah.
Now, this is similar to what Jeff's doing, yeah?
It is, but it's also, isn't it? If they've put a band on you as well, it's also using
No, but they
sight.
haven't.
Right,
It's
okay.
in the mind.
I don't
Mind
know about
band.
the band.
It's a mind thing. I put you under hypnotherapy. I think this is what it is, isn't
Yeah.
it, Jeff? I put you under hypnotherapy and I said, right, okay, your stomach is smaller, you've got a band around you, blah, 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 blah. And when you wake up, as far as you're concerned, you've had a gastric band. But you haven't,
Right.
yeah?
So
Now, hypnotherapy works on a subconscious level, not a
Yeah.
conscious level. That's the difference.
the psychic would would induce that, but for the body to physically change, or for the healing to, would be warranted to be investigated on a scientific
Yeah,
level
so isn't
to
that the
figure
same
out
sort
how
of
the hell
thing?
that's happened.
We
Yeah.
turned around and said to a hypnotherapist, right, okay, you stand there and hypnotise somebody, blah, 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 and they go away, they don't smoke for God knows how many years or whatever. Jeff does exactly the same thing, balancing chakras or whatever that he does as a healer, Reiki healer, even Debs, yeah, and they go away feeling better. It's all mind.
Yeah.
Well, just the
That's
point
what
on
I'm
this.
So you think people's minds are individual?
Yeah.
It'll work for some. I've had hypnosis. I've had past life regression. I don't think to me it's never worked as far as I'm aware. I've had healing. I've had all different things because you put your faith in these things when at some points in your life. But personally, I've always thought that it's never really worked, and maybe that's because that's my belief.
Yeah.
That I don't.
No,
where
let me
other
just
Can I
explain
just
to
say
those-
something?
Let me just say something in the chat room. I'm not saying I am comparing the two, as in I don't believe. I'm just saying that some people might believe in hypnotherapy, but they don't really believe in Reiki healing and vice versa. But to me, it's similar. It works on a
But you
similar...
need them both. You
Yeah.
need
Sorry.
all these aspects.
Hold on a minute, Jeff.
As-
What was you going to say?
Yeah, that Chris actually hit the nail on the head with one word. What he said earlier: belief. If you believe in something and believe it's going to work, it's got a bigger
Better
chance
chance
of
of working.
actually happening. And I got a question here from Leanne for you, Jeff. If I can find it, do you abide by the 5 precepts? Percepts. That says precepts.
Precepts.
Whatever they are.
I've been the way I've been taught going back many years now. It's how you perceive everything and how you treat people. So it's not matter the 5 precepts. It's actually knowing what's right for the person. It's knowing that you treat them as a person, a human being, with dignity and respect, and that's the biggest criteria. Unfortunately, some healers don't have this.
Can you just say what the precepts are?
Well, precepts is to do with the way you treat somebody. It's like any form of healing. It's how you treat them and the level of consciousness that you work on. And the point we were saying before about the hypnotherapy, I'm a qualified hypnotherapist. I trained at Thames Hospital years ago. And a lady on the course... Well, a lady on the course, she had a curvature of the spine, a proven curvature of the spine. I gave her healing. She had an X-ray again a few weeks later, and that was straight. The spine had gone right. Explain that one if you can.
Well, wouldn't that be a scientific miracle? That'd be like Lourdes.
Well, I don't know, but she come back to me and said, "Look, I've had another X-ray now. It's spot on."
That would be like, an evangelist going up to somebody and saying, "Get out of your demons," and standing up and walking.
Obviously, it's never happened again. But at the time, it was miraculous.
If you've got a swimming pool outside your house, I'm coming to bathe in it.
That's fine. That's fine.
If you put some dolphins in there, I'm coming round tomorrow.
Just on the subject of belief there. I mean, a lot of it is belief, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've done things without the belief system where people have been not knowing that I've been doing stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've made people faint.
Yeah.
Because I've took energy away or put energy too much into
Yeah.
the system.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I have the ability of seeing auras. I see them all the time. Can't see
Same
them.
here, yeah.
Okay.
Same, yeah.
So I can react with that aura
Yeah.
whichever way I want. Okay. Where I think I need to be reacting. Okay.
Yeah.
I practiced on my brother many years ago
Uh-huh.
when I first started doing stuff.
Poor
And-
brother.
Yeah. Now, he fainted within 2 seconds. He was just gone on the floor, unconscious. And just talking about the belief system there, it doesn't actually having psychic abilities or medium abilities, or we can also react with other kinds of energies that we can bring in and we can use. Okay, so we're not just pumping our own energy, we're not just using our own energy, we're not just taking Emma's energy, we are reacting with other energy fields as well that are being put into our body to put into the subject or the client or whatever you want to say, the patient. So all that's happening as well. Okay, so there's trying to prove all this stuff would take a very, very long time. And it's like we were talking earlier on about the tip of the iceberg. We don't know nothing, to what's underneath that iceberg.
Well,
there.
it's
Very
much possibilities, isn't it? It's all possibilities, probabilities, theories, and putting all these into actions and deriving what we can from them. What we do know is that whatever is going on here, there, or in a scientific or a spiritual or whatever, they work. It works.
It does work.
And that's going to be a thing that's I think is always going to be going on. It works, and I think maybe what we do is try to dissect everything. Why does it work?
Yeah.
Or we work better than you work, or yours works better than us. Type of thing. I think at the end of the day, if it works, it works. Doesn't matter how it's achieved. But I think it's what spurs us on, isn't it? They're trying to.
Yeah.
I used to have a laugh. I used to stand in queues like post office queue, and I used to make people sway just by reacting. I mean, the Chinese call it the chi, obviously.
That's right, yeah.
And I used to make them sway in the queue. Well, it's practice makes perfect.
You're the charm effect on that, I'm afraid.
Practice makes perfect.
I need to make a
karma out
correction
there,
here. The person that I thought was a hypnotherapist is actually a psychotherapist and uses hypnosis, which is a bit different. I sit corrected.
But our friend Peter Wall actually does the...
Yes, yeah. Peter Wall does actually do the hypnosis.
It's very effective, it really is.
Yeah, he does past life regression and everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Well, it's been a very interesting subject, I must admit. And obviously, with the science side of it, you do a lot of that with your paranormal investigating, don't you?
Well, you got to do. You got to have both sides of the coins. We take the mediums. Well, Jeff comes with us on the investigations, and even Jeff uses scientific methods on the investigations before before he concludes to a psychic side of things. But sometimes we understand that not everything can be answered in science. And things do go on that we need, if someone's having an experience or they've heard something or they see something. And who says that the psychic doesn't actually exist? So, I mean, the fact is we can't say it doesn't, so therefore it's possible. So we have to use both elements. I always go for the scientific side of things, but I'd never dismiss the psychic side. We always go hand in hand with that anyway. Yeah. And it helps everybody. It's a little slice of everything for everybody. And hopefully one day the joining of the two would clarify a few answers, maybe a bit more.
Chris.
Yes.
Taking yourself and a notepad out.
Yeah.
What's the best tool? Investigative tool.
You mean if I was just to go out with a notepad, or just ruling?
No, forgetting yourself because yourself is always the best tool.
Yourself is always. I've always said that.
Take that out of the equation. What have you got left that you would say was your best tool?
Okay, well, if you're taking you're out of the equation. Well, your senses, it's part of yourself.
Yeah, but that's you, isn't it? So
it's part of yourself. See, a lot of it is all based on yourself, and so it's quite a hard question, really.
That's why I asked it.
It is a hard question because I always say that you can't. How can you understand energies? To understand any energies around you starts off by understanding yourself. If you don't understand how we operate, how we think, how we are, if we was to assume that spiritual energies that we're contacting were once people like we are, then obviously their energies would have existed in much the same way as like we do now. So if we understand ourselves or humanity, we've got a better chance of communicating maybe with whoever's there, or so. Yeah, you're right there. The best tool you have is yourself. Apart from yourself and apart from a notebook. Okay. That's a hard one. That's quite hard.
Shall we give you a minute to think about it?
It's hard because there's
60,
a few.
59, 58, 57.
While we're giving you a minute, Chris, there's a statement that's come up there that I want to refer to Neil. Okay. Have you seen the statement?
I've just read it, yeah.
Yeah. James, first time he's been on the chat room tonight, I think, and very welcome he is too. He sounds very sceptical on this subject. I don't know where he's come from, whether he's from the UK or could be Canada, or could be anywhere, because we do get quite a lot of people coming on the show, onto the chat room. But he thinks that people who claim to be healers or mediums are playing with people's emotions and that people can help themselves. I'm going to throw that over to Neil.
Thank you.
Okay, I thought you'd like that one. Because Neil is a medium.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay, and we've had this conversation with Andy 707 before, and as is Jeff, obviously. But Neil being a medium, it's not something that you would actually take lightly in a way. That sort of statement.
I take anything lightly, you know.
Well,
and
you know what I
everybody
mean, yeah.
can say whatever they want to say.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I only read for people or see people who want to see me. Okay. Who want help. If I can help them or you know, give them the slightest bit of hope or you know, just by a little message or whatever, then that's helping them. It's not playing with emotions. I never play with people's emotions. Never trick people. You know, it's not the way. You know.
The reason why I said I've with you, Andy 707, I meant with actually you and Neil because of your beliefs about mediums and their charging and everything.
Yep.
And you have had a conversation about this, haven't you?
Yes, we have, yes.
During the chat and everything, and that's
Yep.
what I was on about. Charging doesn't come into it, really, does it?
No.
You know, when it comes
Not at
to hauntings and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know, we don't charge to do anything
none,
like that.
none of
do
my
we?
healing, rescue work or anything like that I charge for. That's my personal.
Same. Rescue work is always free anyway. Always will be.
Perhaps Andy 707 isn't who I think it is. Oops. Sorry. Oh well, never mind. It was another Andy. Could have swore it was him down in Essex, but never mind.
It's all right, Andy. You get the blame for everything.
Well, Andy was a medium, wasn't he? And then he lost faith with it because of the situation he was in with the group. So.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was actually. So, James is in London. So,
Welcome, James.
all right. Well, I was on about the one in Essex who invited us down, so that can't be him then.
No, that's,
No.
Andy is in Essex.
Yeah, I know. Andy Mercer I was on about.
All right.
He says on there, you know, mediums charging and things like that.
Yeah, he's not got a problem with that. He said.
No, I don't have a problem with that
Yeah.
because they have to make a living about
It's a
everything
service
else.
again, like anything else.
But there is one thing that I'm totally against, and I'm really against it, and I'll always advise people I would stay clear of it, and that's these psychic hotlines. Who
Oh, yes.
£4.50 an hour.
Yeah.
To give
A
minute, sorry, to give
Well,
somebody
this is
a
it.
reading down the phone.
Neil
they've never
won't
heard of.
do that because he don't feel as though you can actually do that.
You can't do a 100% reading on a phone or an email or anything like that because
Exactly.
you've got to be with your client
I would disagree there.
That's
to
right.
to feel the emotions.
I give
to
phone readings and I'm pretty accurate. I can feel the emotions from them.
Mhm.
Maybe
I can't see
heal as
how,
well.
though,
I don't
because
know.
how can that happen? Because the electrical impulses, it's a signal being
You
transmitted down the
can't.
phone.
But you think like impulses.
It changed.
You forget how it all works. It's to a universe. You link to the universe,
Then I disagree.
not a phone line.
I disagree
That's
with
what you
that.
and I disagree.
If you're speaking
You've
to
got-
somebody on the phone line, you're understanding what that person's saying. You can hear the voice and you can tell it's that person. But for that, their voice is travelling the speed of sound, right? And for you to see that person, their image is travelling at you at the speed of light.
No, it's not.
you-
You're
you-
missing the point. It's
But
it's
you're-
universal link.
Yeah, fine. But you're getting that voice again on a scientific level. If you're getting that voice, that voice is being manipulated by receiver satellites. It's being bounced back and everything else. There's no emotion in that. The emotion,
big
you can
key
hear
factor, the big key factor. Okay, if I'm reading somebody, I'm a physical medium as well. Okay, I've been a physical medium for 10 years. If I'm with somebody reading them on a personal level, sat next to them, I always have people up close. Okay, I'm picking up the spirit that's around them. How would you do that on a telephone?
Because you're missing the point again. Spirit around us all the time. And
But
because
if that
there's-
spirit's with
it's-
them,
yeah, but the spiritual
how are they
energy,
with you on the telephone?
Because the spiritual energy links with you over the cosmos, if you like, the energy, and that's how it picks up. You don't have to sit next to them. I can still sit here on the phone with somebody, give a message over the phone. I can still see who's with them because spirit are talking to me all
So
the
that
time.
with them
If I
by
was sat in Australia
I can
doing a
still do
telephone
it.
reading,
Still
I
do
would
it.
still pick up on the person that's around
Because
them.
spirit can travel infinite. There's no time in spirit world. It's infinite all the time.
So I disagree with that. Totally disagree.
How
with
can
that.
it be done on an email? Because for a start, anybody can say you could get an email from somebody proclaiming to be whoever they are. I could send you an email saying I'm called Rose, whoever.
Well, that makes sense.
And
to you.
you're giving me a reading saying like my grandma, I'm a whatever, and I'm somebody else proclaiming to be that person.
Yeah, but
and that's not really. That
it's
reading
not
is
real. But what
for
you get, your spirit guides talk to you and tell you what to write. You're a communicator. It doesn't come from us. It comes from
But you couldn't communicate with a spirit energy that is around that person that you're reading at that one time.
Yes, you can.
Unless that spirit energy covered the whole of the planet, which is
You missed the
completely
point.
rubbish.
Energy is infinite.
Yes, it is.
No,
yeah.
and this is how it works.
But energy does not. It doesn't work on a cloud effect.
I've never
It
seen
doesn't.
this before.
Okay? It doesn't work.
Two mediums.
Spiritual energy does not work
disagreeing.
on a cloud effect. Spiritual energy, it's the same as channeling. You have to channel that one energy source, and you have to be in the vicinity of that energy source to channel.
No, disagree.
I cannot sit in Australia and channel with a spirit that's sat in London.
I've done it for 20 odd years as a medium, and it works
So
very,
have
very
I.
well with me. And I've
So
had
have
no
I.
problems at all with it, linking, communicating. I speak to America regular and give messages of the people. And the accuracy is so spot on. You can't argue
I
with it.
can give messages on the phone, okay? But I can only give messages to a certain level. You can't feel your client's emotions. You can't talk to them on a personal level because you're on a phone. It doesn't work. It's rubbish. Don't agree with it at all.
Well, that's your opinion. I've got my opinion.
I know.
And everyone's
I'm
different.
not this, Nick.
We're different. Have you ever noticed
This
this?
is the way
Two
that I've been
mediums
taught, and that's-
disagreeing on
You've obviously
something.
been taught a different way.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Eversley,
To do that.
Right.
can I just say?
While we're getting into this,
Yeah.
I've got a question from Leanne, and she's qualified what she said. She said, question to medium, do you think mediums that charge end up becoming a victim of their own success? By which I mean they end up making things up for the paying public.
Some do, sadly.
Some do, yeah.
Not with naming names. They'll do it on the road.
Well, I'm actually a company director, so I don't take the mediumship side as that success.
Yeah.
I do that
Yeah.
as what I like to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Can I just say, come back on a couple of things here. So Reiki Dev said, "Is there no more chance of cold reading face to face as I've seen this done?"
This is the trouble.
Yes.
James has
Yep.
said he is skeptic because he went to a church with his nan who had cancer and was given messages and supposedly healing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where after one so-called healing session, she got outside and collapsed and died.
Right.
Which I would think
it's
was
a dangerous
really
thing.
bad.
Yeah. It's a dangerous thing.
It can be dangerous on
of course
that
it can.
respect.
Of course it can.
Reiki Dev said, Jeff, do you think that it's because of your Reiki training that you can do this sort of thing through the telephone bit?
It could well be that because I do pick emotions up
Yeah.
at distances.
So,
Yeah,
and
but
the
it's good part
oneness.
of it. There's a oneness.
So,
Yeah.
so Leanne said that wasn't answering the question.
yeah. Some mediums do obviously become successful through mediumship, and
Yes.
yes, they do become laxed. Yes, they do cheat.
Yeah.
We've had so many out there on the television,
Which is sad.
Well, if you
yeah,
think
it is
about
sad.
it,
It's very
they've been
Yeah.
paid to do a performance.
That's what it
You
is.
turn up,
Yeah.
you've got a full house, you get out on the stage and you go, oh shit, no, excuse my French, nobody's here.
Yeah.
See, the thing-
Nobody's here to tell me anything.
You've been to my shows, okay?
Yeah.
Take this for an example.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What a lot of the successful mediums who make a hell of a lot of money, I'm talking millions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, do on stage is gap fill.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen that.
So very similar to cold reading,
Uh-huh.
okay? And what they'll do is, if they're not getting anything through, they'll gap fill and they'll make stuff up.
Yeah.
So they'll tell that person, oh, you're going to win the lottery
Yeah.
next week
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay. So they'll gap fill. Okay. Whereas my shows, if I'm not getting messages through, I pause, and you know that I go
Yes.
quiet. Okay.
Yes.
Don't care how long the reading takes. I don't care how
Yeah.
many people are sighing, waiting for the time.
Yeah.
I pause because I never ever gap fill. Okay,
Uh-huh.
as you know, I only give what I'm giving.
Yes.
Okay. But that's the problem. Okay. We've also got other mediums who've been in the press. Okay. Who will have people dotted in the audience.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's been proven.
That's been proven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've also had people who have been in the reception talking
Yeah.
about things
Yeah.
before they come in.
I've even heard
And then
rumours
you've
of
had
actually
Yeah, again, not
standing.
naming any names,
Not
but
naming
yes.
any names.
I've
Okay.
actually heard of people standing in the queue waiting to go
Yeah.
in
That's
Exactly.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
and talking
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
Oh, who do you want to,
Bring through.
you know,
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
through and this and
I
you're hoping
even know
for?
of a medium that actually got everyone to write a questionnaire.
Yeah, I've seen that before as well.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's wrong. It's
know?
all wrong.
It's
So
crazy.
Simply Joe said you could be telling jokes. Try to tell jokes. In the break.
Yeah, apparently the you know this food thing about the horse meat and everything.
Yeah.
It's actually gone into B&Q. They're all taking the wood floor back because they've got lamb in it. Apparently.
Lamb
See what I mean?
Yeah. That's,
Now
yeah.
you know why he won't tell jokes. And he said, "Do you ever
Sorry.
come south? Because he'd like to see you in action." Dun, dun, dun.
If you wanted to go south, Andy, maybe possibly. I don't know yet, because well, no. I mean, I've just got a lot of work to do in London at the moment, so maybe I don't know. I've got friends in Essex as well, so
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Deb says that's bad, but you will get good and bad people in every job profession.
I'm not a comedian. I'm a medium.
So, well, it's been, as I say. So, is there anything else you want to finish off with?
I will say, as mediums, we've been accused of reading people's emotions and
Yeah.
face signals.
Yeah.
Make me point out, when I do readings and messages, as they'll testify, I usually close my eyes, so I can't see what they're doing. I can't see their facial expressions. I can't see what they sense, what's going on around them, because I don't work that way. I'd rather do it with my eyes closed, and that way I'm linking out to spirit and nothing. I'm not seeing whether they're smiling or a slight twitch in the face, and that's the way I do it.
Yeah.
When I do my shows, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I actually turn my back on the person I'm reading for.
Yeah, because I always think.
Sorry about that. I know
rude.
it looks ignorant and stuff like that, but it's just to say that I'm not cold
Not
reading.
cold reading, which
Yeah.
I agree with Neil. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a great way of doing it.
I know
Yeah.
look upwards as well.
Yeah.
That's a good
It's
idea,
a bad
that.
habit.
Yeah.
That.
Yes.
I mean, like
when you
your
can't miss
readings.
it.
I mean, Jeff's readings at the meetings has been phenomenal. When he's at the meetings, so I'm not knocking that. He's had people that he's give readings to, and
Yeah.
they've all, the feedback's come back. It's been great, So it does work, and people do like it, and yours sounds fantastic as well. So if you are doing a show in London, give us a shout and coming with you.
Okay. I'm staying at the Hilton though, by the way.
Who's paying for that?
You can do it, and I'll record
Am I
it.
going to be in the foyer doing the tarot cards?
A little microphone.
Yeah. Nay, lass.
I must admit, though, when we've done the psychic parties, because I've just started developing and doing the tarot, you'll have somebody in your room, and then either before they've gone to him or afterwards, we get a lot of people that have turned around and said, Neil's just said exactly the same thing that you've just picked up, which makes me feel good. And when they go in and tell him exactly the same thing, because we don't see each other all through the night, do we?
We're
You're in
separate
your
rooms,
room, and I'm in my room, and we miss each other. We're like passing shits all the way through, and it's
Synchronicity?
Yeah.
It's good proof, isn't it?
It is
Yeah, I
good
mean
proof.
that's why we started doing it, wasn't it? Yeah.
James says, I want to pick up on a comment made earlier where one of your guests said dowsing rods and crystals are signals from the brain. Yeah, we were talking about the pendulum. Could we actually be doing it ourselves? And some people think that the dowsing rods are the same, that we're actually moving them. He said, is it not the same with mediums? Okay. And signals in your brain giving you
it could well be. Now, what you've got to think of here, I see spirit, I talk to them. Yeah, that could be a signal in the brain. Of course it could.
Yeah.
But I've seen objects move on their own. I've had objects
Exactly.
thrown on me,
Yeah.
thrown at me. I've been stabbed, I've been cut, I've been scratched, I've been burned. All by spirit.
The beer keg was a good one.
Beer keg was a good one. I had a full beer keg thrown at me in a pub, and it
Yes.
smashed against the wall.
That's things like that happen to me. I've had things thrown at me. I've seen things
So
move.
if that's a message
scientific.
in the brain or a signal in the brain, then maybe
sort of like telepathy.
could be telepathy. I could have
Maybe
moved that,
moving it yourself.
But no, I mean I understand what he's trying to say.
But when a person
yeah.
actually sees
Telekinesis.
something, though, in reality, if a person sees something anyway, like this cup, it's actually a signal being transmitted to your brain in a sense anyway, and then your brain processing in the signal for your retinas to be able to make out what it is. So I suppose everything's a signal. It doesn't mean to say that spirits aren't sending this signal to I suppose, but it is all signal.
Reiki Devs wants to know which came first for Jeff, psychic side or Reiki?
This is a strange one because
it's feminine side.
Good night, Leanne, by the way.
From being a child, I've always been empathic. That's where I started. So it's a bit of both, really. Healing and spiritual medium side of it, with empathic feelings. I could walk into a room, feel people's emotions, it'd make me sick sometimes or elated. I didn't understand it. It weren't until I developed it later on that it all made sense, all come together. So the answer to that is both.
Right, Leanne's leaving us. She said,
Leanne.
okay,
Night,
guys, I'm
Thanks,
off.
Leanne, for coming on and thanks for your comments.
She said, great show, loved the debate against the two mediums.
Well, it was
that's unusual.
it was actually the debate that she was after.
Was it?
Yeah. Did you not recognise that?
Yeah, I did a bit. So it was quite interesting though to get two views on mediumship. So it's definitely different, and
We do all work in different ways.
all
You have to
mediums
do,
do
yeah.
work in different ways. I must admit.
As long as you're genuine in what your beliefs are, you don't
Yeah.
try and pull up somebody's eyes, that's the best way.
like Deb said, it's just different ways of working. Well, this is it.
is.
Yeah.
So, you know. So Chris, as a paranormal investigator, where's your best place you've ever investigated? Oh, yeah, you still haven't told at all yet.
Like, that's so hard to do. Well, I mean, without being yourself, then it's hard to do. But I mean, I think
Okay, let's go through them.
respect, dedicate, commitment, respect, dedication.
Okay,
and
let's go through them. What's your opinion? We're going to go on the psychic side now, the technical side. K2.
they're all right. Yeah,
Some people
K2.
use them as a tool where they're saying yes, no, and what have you. What do you think?
I'd use one. I'd have a go at one.
what
In
do you
fact, I have
think?
used it.
Yeah.
We've used one at Hat Green. When we went with Kath Alpha More Haunted, she came with us.
Yeah.
And that was all right. We put it wasn't a K. Well, was it a K2 we used?
K2,
Was
yeah.
it? You know, and the signals sort of lit up and and things like that. But yeah, what we do as well, we have to test things first, make sure that we're not causing this by moving around and all that type of stuff. Any electrical things in the air.
Mm-hmm.
When they start responding on command for certain things, then you think, oh, right, okay, which is all right. So I like that. I like the visual. I think the visual aspect is always a good thing rather than.
Chris, explain that green one with the camera as well. The K2.
With the what?
The camera, the film, the footage. The K2.
Yeah, well, we had. We've got footage. It's on the website actually.
Explain why.
Was it you that was calling out?
Yeah.
Is that? And I think we had a K2 meter, and it's there. And then I think Jeff says, if you're there, give us this sign like we do. The K2 meter lit up, and then this anomaly or whatever it was on the screen sort of flies past. You remember that? It flies past, which is good in a way because it all corresponds at the same time. I mean, I haven't sort of devised a way of let me figure this out. Why there's that done that at that specific time? Did the electricity from the K2 itself create the the anomaly itself? Who knows? I mean, there's different ways of thinking, but it was very good how it does it. So the K2 and the visual aspect, yeah, I'd use that.
Right, you're looking at the thermometers.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got the hand thermometers, or gun thermometers.
The temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'll be honest with you. We've looked at it and we thought to ourselves, well, you're actually getting the temperature. What is it?
You're only getting the temperature of the red dot, the pinpoint later.
Yeah.
You're not getting the ambient temperature of the room, and you should be taking both.
Yeah. So
Plus, you need to be wherever you're aiming your dot. But you need to be. You're actually getting the measurement an inch below.
Yeah.
As well. So when your red dot's hitting there, it's about an inch below and then the signal you're losing signal and the beams coming back to you anyway. So you're not getting a complete reading. We use them. We do use them, but I think it's a lot of your own senses really tell you when the cold and the heat.
Yeah. Do you use the ambient temperature readers as well?
We use everything.
So you get a proper temperature of the room.
I've actually got a aerometer, which was both temperature and wind speed.
Data loggers.
Flash bugger.
Data loggers are good. Because data loggers, they change you got it into your laptop there. They change the slightest, temperature, ambient. I mean, when outside when it goes down, the temperature changes anyway. And then it can change again. The more people that go in the room, you get 5 people walk in the room. You go, it's cold in here, and then suddenly 5 more join you. The heat starts to build up.
So, what's your opinion on phone apps? The Ovilus on a phone.
Phone apps does my head in. What I've done is I put a picture on Facebook on our Facebook website the other day. Good night, Lee. And it was a picture of a UFO, outside, and I put this picture on saying, is it fake or real?
Yeah.
And it was taken outside my window, and it was fake because I made it, and I put that on Facebook. But what I wanted to do, and I'm going to put a series of pictures on over a period of time, and they're not all made by me. Some of these are going to be real, some of them might be fake. And the idea behind it was to get people thinking about how, is it fake, is it real, but how did they come to that conclusion? And it was to get them thinking on a scientific level to break these things down. Because the idea with phone apps, it's good fun. Of course it can be good fun, but in the idea, in the world of a paranormal investigator, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It does, and it gives people false hopes. It gives people false illusions.
Yeah.
It classes us all as charlatans. It's very hard to differentiate them because it's hard to break them down because the pixels on these things, it's actually blended into the picture when they're on a phone app. But then there's no negative, so then again they can't be classed as evidence anyway. But it's a nightmare when these things are put on, and it just ruins everything. And that's the 21st century for you.
Well, Gemma has said, and who analysed it properly and asked the proper questions?
Oh,
Chris?
because she rang me up and I told her. No, she
So
Come
anyway,
on, Gemma. Yeah, she did. She didn't do bad actually, but she actually was going towards the the B-52 bomber, not B-52 bomber, stealth bomber, and said the lights was all. I understood where she was coming from, but it wasn't a bomber. It was supposed to be a UFO, but this isn't an app.
Right. So
but she was thinking down the right.
So
line.
where is your best place you've been to?
There's a series of places I've been to. Margam Castle in Wales is probably one of the ones.
I love that place.
That was weird. Torvale Mill in Derbyshire is another place that was weird. I think my favourite place, I think of all places, is Eyam.
Where?
Eyam.
Eyam?
Yeah, I love. It's not because.
Don't you mean Eyam?
No, not Eyam.
Eyam.
That's cat food. Eyams. No, Eyam, the plague village.
E-Y-A-M.
E-Y-A-M.
Oh
Eyam.
yeah. Where's that?
People would say, "What's your favourite location?" Mainly because of the spooky goings on that they've had. Or, I encountered this sighting. I mean, I've had experiences at Eyam.
Yeah.
Because when I get to Eyam, I know the person who lives at Plague Cottage, so I know her very well. I stay there regular.
Yeah.
And I've had experiences there. It's welcoming. The town itself's welcoming. It feels like you're home. You're back home. It's like a beckoning. I've been on the stairs when I was just walking down the stairs and suddenly disappeared. I didn't disappear. I was there.
Yeah.
But I can't explain it. There was investigators downstairs, and there was this they collected this EVP or something.
Time slip?
Now, this is what I thought at first. My mind, I thought I've just been engulfed by. I've just stepped into an air bubble of EMF fields or something like that, or just maybe passing through. I don't know. I stood on the step. I couldn't hear. I couldn't see anything. Wasn't aware of anything. I just heard a load of voices around me, which seemed like for a few minutes, but it was probably for a few seconds, and then carried on walking down the stairs. But then that leads to other theories that I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah. Would you say? I know it's true for me that that sometimes you walk into a place and you just feel it's right.
Yeah.
Not for any particularly spooky reason. You just feel it's the right place to be.
I think there's a little. When we went to Hat Green, there was some like a EVP or sounds that we picked up from Hat Green's whistling that we had from there. And I was speaking with Emma actually about this, and I said, we're sort of breaking this down into sonic vibrations or sonic slides, as I was calling them. When people actually hear, they hear EVP and they see visual aspects of paranormal entities or spiritual entities and things like that. Is it because these things are always there as a residual? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we might see a spirit, who might see a spirit, who might see a spirit, but to the spirits, we're spirits and we're all spirits, because I think maybe we're all held in little pieces of time ourselves, and not just, but sound as well. And sometimes when something happens, let's say EVP or a noise has been made, but it's just there in the air and it's just hovering. It's hard to describe this really, but it's there in the air, and when a certain vibration hits it, like hits it in a tuning fork, in the piano or whatever.
Yeah, you can record it.
And then it sound that sonic frequency going through, rippling through you'll hear it. Could that ripple through time where we could hear it? And do you know what I mean? This is a theory that I'm working on. So it sounds a little bit, what the hell's he talking about? Yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Can I also say from the point of Hat Green, it's not actually a bunker. It's only about 3 feet down.
Yeah.
Hat Green.
Yeah.
I love that place, me.
I know, but it's not underground.
No, I mean, like RAF Holton, which is actually
underground,
under the earth.
Yeah.
They have a third floor on that green, which is military. Military, apparently.
Yeah, the centre of Hat Green is they're still used. It's still offered out to the to people using the radio mask and that.
Let's talk about the plague town there.
Jeff, what's your best place you've investigated? Have you been on investigation? Obviously you have.
Oh yes, loads and loads.
What's the best place, would you say?
Best place. I like the Hat Green one because of the emotions. We went in one of the rooms down there, and we pre-walked around first of all. And as soon as it hit that room door, the emotion, the energy was overwhelming. It wasn't a nice feeling. And because of that, it stands in your mind, stands out in your mind quite dramatically. And then we eventually had to go in there, obviously, and pick things up. But at that point, it's like a barrier you hit. And it was the most really awkward, horrible feelings you could encounter.
Yeah.
It's really hard to walk through there. We had to do it. And that stays in my mind. Yeah. Yeah, it's downstairs one with that, was it a theatre or something? Little theatre.
Yeah, and you, Neil?
Neil?
Phew. I've done some locations which I can't talk about, obviously, but they were very. The ones I can talk, I do like Morecambe, to be honest. It's one of my favourite places, Morecambe Winter Gardens. I seem to get quite a lot going on in there, as you know. That probably the one that stands out.
I mean, something I've noticed over the last 6-7 odd years that we've been doing investigations is that places seem to tune into people. I mean, by which I mean we could both walk into a place and you'll get absolutely the zip, and yet I'll get loads of it, and vice versa in a different building. Why do you think that is? I'll open it up to all of you.
We, on a medium point of view, and Jeff might agree with me on this, everybody works in a different way, on a different tune, on a different level, different energy height, a different frequency, everybody works differently. So you might pick up on things that I can't, I might pick up on things that you can't, or we might pick up on the same thing but see it as a different.
You've also got a different way of looking at things as well. So what you might experience, somebody else might experience the same thing, a similar thing, but in a different perspective, if you know what I mean. So it's like my phone keep going off. It is.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? James, I'm going to put this to Neil. James says, I have a question. Does everyone have a spirit guide? I only ask because I was asked to go on a church with my nan and was given... It says go on a church, it says. And was given messages from a relative who looked after me as a baby. And everyone the medium spoke to was asked to join a circle, and they were a healer or a medium. How would I know who looked after me when I was a baby? Do you want to take that one?
Guides, you've got different guides. You've got healing guides, you've got spiritual guides, you've got working guides, you've got personal guides, you've got the list is endless, and they can change over the years, they can change over the weeks. We're not always, we haven't always got the same one. Sometimes we have the same one over years, so everybody's different. You've got to be very, very careful with the spiritualist churches, and I will speak out about this because I left the spiritualist church many, many years ago. You've got to find the right one. You've got to find the right spiritualist church that's run properly, the way it should be run. There's no bitchiness, which is there is a lot in the churches, believe it or not.
That would be a bloody miracle.
There is a miracle. There is some good churches out there, spiritual churches that do actually help people who do want to, grow in that basis. But finding them, it's.
I am actually a spiritualist medium, and I do the churches regular. And yeah, I agree with Neil. Some of the churches are very clicky and into each other.
Yeah,
and I think that's wrong. That's giving the wrong message.
Yeah.
I go to Denton quite a lot, and they're fantastic. They're genuine. They care about people and they help people. But all the churches I've actually done over my years are really clicky and doing it for themselves. It's a power trip for them.
Yeah.
Which is all wrong, in my opinion.
I've got a question. Right, you get a medium and they give somebody a reading. How does it work if a medium gives a medium a reading?
Same thing, no different.
But doesn't your both your spiritual guides sort of speak with each other? Does your spiritual guides give each other readings?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Your spirit guide give their spirit guide a reading.
Yeah.
Well, this is just a strange concept, isn't it?
So is it worth you giving them the reading? Because if they were spirit guides, they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Well, because they're already on the other side, wouldn't they know what you was going to say in the first place? And because you're a medium, wouldn't you already know what reading you was going to get? So therefore, you won't need a reading.
I'm just looking at the question James has put. James, how would I know who looked after me when I was a baby? Well, go for a reading somewhere, or go and see a medium, or go to church. Because at the end of the day, that your family and friends would know who looked after you. And those from the spirit world, or what they call them, guys, loved ones, whatever they call them, they will talk to the medium and tell the medium all the information they need to know.
One thing I will say to you, James, is I've learnt this, never to tar everyone with the same brush. Just because one episode at the church obviously went that bad with your nan, which I'm sorry for, please note that not all mediums are like that. And there are some good ones out there.
Can I just say as well there, it's not that they're bad, they don't mean to be bad. Some do, obviously,
Yeah.
because they're overcharging and they just want it for money.
Yeah, but if you're looking at
But-
that scenario, to them, that was bad. Yeah.
A lot of mediums out there haven't been trained properly. They haven't been taken through the right procedure.
Very true.
You know, and again, we're going back to maybe possibly the church where
Yeah.
they've been taught in the clicky way.
Yeah.
You know, the way that they think they should be trained.
Yeah.
So they haven't had the right backing, they haven't had the right training, they haven't grew up with it properly.
No.
You know, and that's what they lack. So basically, it's going back to the gap filling again.
Yeah.
So they're just, you know, maybe they can give the odd message,
Yeah.
and they're building on that, and I can make a lot of money out of this.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
and
it.
then the ego goes through the roof.
Mm.
As I always say, do never put me on a pedestal. I'm no different than you, me, you. We're all the same. We're all equal.
Yeah.
We're all, you know. I won't say it, but when you have a session, you pee in the same pot.
Mm.
Nobody's different. Nobody's any better. Because we speak to the spirit, doesn't make any better.
Do you know what? I went to a spiritualist church a couple of times, and it cost me about £2.50 to get in. Yeah. Somebody said they were going to a spiritualist church, 15 quid.
What?
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I think
Jeez.
some mediums are spiritual. They put themselves on the pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Precisely.
that's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I think some people do it for the wrong attributes. Let's say, you know, some people do it, I think, because they was meant to do it, and you know, I think spirits contacted you and using you as a vessel to pass information over to Emma or to whoever,
Yeah.
and you do it because you genuinely felt, relieved, or you felt, enlightened, because it's a glorious thing to do if you can pass information.
Yeah.
You know, but you get others that do it because maybe they get used to it, and they think, I've got this ability I can do here. I'm going to cash in on this and make a quick. And they don't do it for the love of doing it, or because they're concerned that person who's grieving or wants to know. They think, I've got something to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you unless you cross my palm is silver. You know, like the old gypsies, like in them days.
Yeah.
And I think them are the ones that put themselves on the
Yeah, they
on
are.
Yeah, very much so.
pedestals.
And if you, for example, I grew up. Probably Jeff grew up with it as well. I mean, I started when I was 4. My grandmother was a good medium in Liverpool.
Yeah.
She was actually trained by Doris Stokes, bless her soul.
Yeah.
So I had the right backing. You know, I had a teacher
Yeah.
from day one.
Yeah.
You know, and she took me under her wing. So I was taught the right way.
So they showed you the
But
correct
if you,
way.
yeah, but if you look now on Facebook, and you've
Oh,
how
God,
many
yeah.
mediums are coming up?
Everybody's
yeah.
a
That.
medium,
But
aren't they? Idea.
Yeah.
really pees me off is you get requests, please vote for me as the best medium
Oh, that
Oh, yeah.
really winds me up.
of the UK
Yeah.
or wherever.
Yeah.
Isn't
I
that
don't
putting
even know
yourself
the
on?
person.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
That's
pedestal,
pedestal.
isn't it?
But I
Which is
don't
all
even
wrong.
know this
Yeah.
person. So how
It's
could
not,
I?
but then again, it's not just mediums, it's paranormal groups as well.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bigging themselves up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need
I suppose
a
we're
wall
guilty of
every
that
day.
as well, but we're advertising. I suppose
It's
many
not so
groups
bad.
are guilty
I've
of that.
always
But
always
we're
said,
advertising ourselves at the moment.
I have
We've
always
gotta do-
yeah, but I've always said at the end of the day, if it comes to you, fame, then fair enough.
Well,
You don't turn it away when it knocks on
No,
the door.
no.
But
No,
it's
no.
no
Exactly,
point
I mean-
chasing it.
I mean, I've
You know what I mean?
10 years of doing this. I've done my television work. I've been on ITV. I've been on Most Haunted. I've done this and the other. And other people are just going into that and they're just doing it now, and they think, it's and we might never get on the television again. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The idea is now, which is all good. 10 years. 10 years ago, we started off, small, and it grew bigger, and you learn yourself, and you learn off other people, and other people learn from you, and you
Yeah.
sort of help fashion things along, as it were, and you get a better understanding of things. And 10 years later, we're sort of putting ourselves back out there, because I think the community changes.
Oh yeah.
It's certainly changed, because we're not recognised like we were like 10
No.
years ago, and I think it's the same for all the groups, because there's that many now. I mean, there's about 15 groups come up from Club Zero in the
Oh
past
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And and they all sort of do similar things, and so people look at
Yeah.
it and think, well, we can go here, there, or everywhere.
Oh
It
yeah.
doesn't
This
matter.
is it.
So you've got to give something
Mm.
that somebody's going to really appreciate, that's
Yeah.
useful for them. So, the television, if they knocked on the door and said, look, you want to do this programme? Yeah, okay, fine, it's advertising,
Yeah.
fine. But apart from that, we
Chasing
do
it.
it because we
Yeah.
need, we have a passion to give to these
Yeah,
people
yeah.
to
Precisely.
do that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. People will go A to B to C to D because it's a night out, and when I
Yeah.
get pie-eyed, or it's a laugh, or they want to go on an investigation and muck about. But there is people out there who are like veteran paranormal enthusiasts.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to find somewhere
What
that's
is it?
genuine and not
Yeah.
going to take the mick out of their beliefs or whatever they want to do,
Right.
and help them enlighten themselves along the way. So we have to keep, and 10 years after, we still got to keep pumping ourselves out there like everybody does.
On that note,
I mean, hang on a minute. I wouldn't say this out to the public as a rule, and I'm about to, but that's beside the point. I've always said to myself that us as a group are the best at what we do. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to look at what you do and go, well, that could make me even better.
yeah.
No, but you're right. No, you're exactly right, because I believe you are the best at what you do. I am the best at what I do.
You do, yeah.
And I'm sure the your listeners out there are understanding that sense. Everybody is the best at what they do. So your group is the best at what they do.
Yeah.
Our group is the best at what we do, because even though we do we all go looking for, we're on a similar
In a
path.
similar way, yeah.
Or the similar type of, it's all involving the paranormal. We all do things in a different way. We run our groups, we control our teams, we do our research in different ways and different formats.
Yes.
So that puts you to be the best at what you do.
We've actually changed the way we do things slightly because.
I think you guys have done so fantastic.
Because me and Sue went out with another group to help out because they were short of team members.
Yeah.
And we looked at what they were doing and go, well, that's a good idea. We can use that.
Yeah.
And I would have no problem with another group coming to us and saying, can we do that?
Can we do that?
Well, that's what it should be about.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Some groups are going to, they're going to devise new ideas, or not just groups, but individuals who have learned along the
Precisely.
way. But they've learned themselves, or the groups learn themselves, because they've had the help of association people in the past in the first place.
Yeah.
So ideas are there, and it can only help people. I mean, that's if you get an idea from every group and take one idea. If you got a group and you formed a new group and stood them there and took one idea from every group. Going and left them with all the other group, and just take one idea and throw all them ideas into that group, what would you have?
Well, this is it.
What would you
On
have?
that note, I'll try again. Would you like to tell us your website?
Yeah, Club Zero, www.clubzero.paranormal.co.uk and clubzero.co.uk, and Facebook is Phase 2 Paranormal on Facebook.
Right, okay.
And we've got a new meeting on Monday.
Meeting's on Monday.
New meeting on Monday, on the 25th.
And whereabouts is that?
It's Monday the 25th of February at the Holsworth Working Men's Club in Holsworth Square, Stockport, at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
And we have guest speaker Mr. Steve Mera.
Ooh, good old Steve Mera. Everyone knows
Steve
him.
Mera.
And Jeff, thank you for coming. Do you have a website?
Yes. My website is spiritualmediumjeffknott.co.uk, and Jeff with a J, J-E-F-F-K-N-O-T-T.
Right, there you go. And Neil Munnerley, what's your website?
Do you know, I forgot. You'll find me, just Google it.
neilmunnerley.co.uk. Since I do his webmastering. So, well, thank you very much, guys. It's been great. Thank you to Emma for being our
guinea pig.
So, but before we go, I need a couple of things to do. But thank you again, guys. So, first of all, she says, hang on, 2 seconds. Which one is it? Try again.
Coming soon.
Thank you. Right, well, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Sasha Claire Christie coming on the show. She's going to be talking to us via Skype. And I'm not sure whether she's going to be the first or second guest yet. We've also got Tony Topping. Tony's going to be talking this time about remote viewing. So that should be interesting. And so we're going to have a good discussion about that. Unfortunately, he's not coming in. We've been waiting for him to come in, haven't we? So we can see if there's black ops in the sky. But but he can't make it at the moment. But he's going to be talking about remote viewing, so that could be quite interesting. Sasha's going to talk about her group and what she gets involved in. Just a reminder that on the 6th of March we have Alison Ryder on Skype, and she is prepared to do a couple of readings, so you can try her out if you like. That's from 9:30. And then on the 13th of March we have a special night where we have Derek Akora. He's booked in on the 13th of March. Now, last week, it wasn't mentioned this week for some reason, but there's been talk in the chat room about having a party for the chatters, as they call themselves.
A lot of them were missing.
There are a lot missing tonight, aren't there? I don't
Couldn't
know why.
you do it to give you callers? one of these psychic readings over the phone, like you were discussing earlier?
Pardon?
You know, your callers, you get people to ring in.
Oh yeah, they'd be
Can you
great.
get Derek to see, and do a reading like you were discussing earlier on the phone?
Derek said he won't do the readings over the phone.
Well,
But he will be talking, so we're doing the whole show on him. Alison, in fact, will be doing it. Can't wait for Andy to speak to him. Okay, so as I say, on the 20th of March, you chatters out there that have been with us for a while, just like, that's what they called themselves last week. I'd just like to tell you that we've been going a year on the 21st of March.
That's my birthday, by the way, 21st of March.
But I tell you what, I can't believe we've been going a year. And on that night, we're going back to chakras, but we're also talking about auras with Jackie Newcomb's sister, Madeline Richardson. So she should be coming on the show, hopefully. Well, via Skype anyway. So we'll be doing that as well. Jackie Newcomb, the angel lady, I'm sure you remember her. She came on the show. Well, this is her sister who's also written a book. So that's what's coming up in the near future. But I just want to also my last word for you tonight is something that has been mentioned quite recently, but I just want to give you a bit of food for thought because nobody seems to have seen this. Now, we are not trying to preach to the unpreachable here, but we cover all things unusual on this show. Okay. Although our main focus is the paranormal, we also like to include ufology, cryptozoic, as I like to call it, conspiracies, and other strange mysteries and phenomena. Okay. Topics that may seem out of this world, or out of the ordinary to us, and maybe a little too far-fetched in our opinions, but are real in other people's eyes and fears. I am open-minded to most things as we talk about, but just think about this for a moment. UFOs and aliens. Tales of little green men coming to our Earth, flying about and hearing about abductions, etc. And dogs shaking. Ghosts and hauntings. This covers a lot of subjects: sightings, possessions, poltergeist activity, even mediumship. Too many to mention. Cryptozoology, as I said, the study of animals. Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Kalimembe. Even the mountain gorilla discovered in 1902 was once thought to be a primitive hairy person. Moreover, many species that, despite its official classification as extinct, sightings are still reported, i.e. the Tasmanian wolf. The last captive example died in 1936, but rumours of this wolf-like mammal continue to emerge from the island's ancient forest. Elusive or just extinct, sorry, I'm fighting with a dog here. Extinct or just elusive. Even to our Nigel Mortimer's portal, hidden in the North Yorkshire Dales. All these topics are but few and stories of the strange happenings all around the world. So maybe, just maybe, there could be an element of truth about them. And that's not forgetting the conspiracy theorists out there when it comes to the government, etc. Just like the chemtrail theory. All this just could be all far-fetched, loonies you may think, in some cases, even scaremongers. But what would you think if you suddenly saw something you thought was a load of old rubbish? Thanks for listening, and remember, these people take time out to talk to us and share their beliefs. So until next time, what do we say? Keep the paranormal friendly, guys. Good night and God bless.